Diablo is just absurd at the moment. His willingness to go in, his aggression in team fights. I think if G2 are going to stand a chance in this series, they need to find a way to shut down that AD carry.
And I would agree, and I would +1 you. Also add in Kellen.
Yes, very true.
I think Kellen has a pretty big advantage over Labrov in the current meta. I mean, Kellen, when you mention Diablo, you have to mention Kellen right with him because he's the one keeping him safe and flashing to go put his life in danger.
Get down,
to save Diablo and do everything he can with all the enchanters. So one of the enchanters is off the board already, but of course in the beginning of Fearless, it's really hard to go after all of them. You know, Seraphine and Lulu, the primary ones. Okay, you can go after a couple
two
though.
of them are off.
Smart. So this is smart. You take away the Seraphine so they can't use it later for the rest of the series as well, and sets you up with multiple avenues to go for. We've seen people pair the Seraphine with other, you know, AD carries besides Ashe as well if they decide to, break up the combo and steal that away.
That is the standard though, and Hans Summer on Ashe has had some really good performances. His ability to stay back in team fights and see where he can actually go in for the battle is pretty solid. BFX though immediately going to say, okay, we will take the Vi. I'm going to let myself get away with that one BFX. I know it's BNK FearX. I'll let myself get away with one. But yeah,
I mean, you can say the tri-code sometimes. I feel like, come on, that's got to be legal. That's got to be legal.
FearX for the rest of the day.
Okay, so Vi, you're always thinking Ari and Talia type things. Talia's dropped a little bit in priority since previous, but still, any sort of kill, you know, AP mid lane could pair with it. Technically flexible on Nico, but most probably down to support.
Yeah, Nico gives you so much presence in team fights with that Pop Blossom and the ability to find those surprise ganks. We still see people undercounting minion waves and getting caught out by that shape splitter.
And I always like, you know, going for super hard engage. You see a Seraphine, so you got Vi and Nico immediately, and look to go, you know, full engage on these squishies. Okay, so no surprises so far. Straight down the line, the classic Ashe pairing with the Seraphine, so you can get the slows, you can prep for the extra synergy there, and then Xin just for good dueling into Vi. You have advantages over Vi in 1v1 early on in the game, so you can force a lot of like early dragon fights or early scuttle fights and you know, skirmish angles for yourself.
Also, the Crescent Guard giving you a lot of control in team fights. If you do go in and there's a Pop Blossom on your back line, you can be on that front line with the Crescent Guard, not taking too much damage, allowing yourself a little bit more safety. Ari is the lock for BNK FearX. No real surprises there. It was Victor's most played this year alongside a couple of others as well, if I recall correctly. I think that Talia is up there. But the Ari does just make a lot of sense when you're teaming it up with things that already have good pick potential, and you have to follow up with the Charm and then the Spirit Rush to run through the back of a fight.
Yep, as we said, all of the most likely pairings here. So in the first game, getting a lot of them off the board. Interesting, we do get the Annie that has become more and more popular because it is quite good into the RE4 lane, or should be. We saw in the LCS that it actually got turned around due to some individual play, but that's why they're still banning it against Caps, even though Caps, obviously in the Annie game that he played,
did not have the best
was rendered less effective than normal, but it's still because of the matchup taking it away and what they're showing.
Yeah, Silas and the Annie bound away by BNK FearX, and then there's the Kai'Sa and the Ezreal taken away by G2. Trying to get rid of things like Diablo, very comfortable on the Ezreal. He's already got a pentakill on it this tournament. And then the Kai'Sa, the ability to dive onto that backline following up a Caesar assist is just so strong.
Yeah, it's just the perfect AD carry to go with a dive comp like this. So pretty good ban so far, but one of the favorite things to watch is Diablo on this Yunara. It's a little bit less exciting when you don't have the Lulu, but still very, very, very powerful. And they have so much like forward-facing CC, so much engage that, you know, they can set him up that way.
Yeah, the issue for G2 now is how do we get onto Diablo before he really ramps up in a team fight? Before Transcend oneself has the Arc of Judgment, huge amounts of damage going across with that Cultivation of Spirit. If they can find picks on him, sure, maybe they can take him out at the start of the fight, but it is going to be very difficult when you have a Nico and a Vi there to protect him. G2 looking for a blind pick. Top laner will just go towards Broken Blaze Cassante. No real surprises there. Hasn't had the best of tournaments, Cassante. I think 1 and 4 so far here at first stand.
Yeah, still a really good blind pick though, and when you're running Ashe Seraphine, you just want some more frontline up there. So pretty safe pick there. Meanwhile, the LeBlanc into the Ahri. All right, let's see. We're putting it right to the test at the very beginning. We'll see if Vedius is right about his Caps versus Vikla propaganda that he is trying to spread, because the LeBlanc into Ahri definitely is going to be fun with the setup there. It's pre-6. It's going to be more advantage to G2 because they have the Xin matchup in jungle versus Vi. But post-6, Vi and Ahri can really blast them back. So this one's going to be quite exciting how they navigate the early game.
I think a lot of people as well, if you've only started watching League Esports in the last few years, you won't really think of Caps as LeBlanc as this huge power pick. But this is his second most played all time with a 70% win rate. He is incredibly comfortable on this pick. And if he can manage to find some pressure in the early game, his ability to get onto that backline, to get onto Diablo and have that assassination potential is actually really high. And
one of my favorite things to do when I have LeBlanc mid lane, you know, pre-6 again is really a lot of advantages for LeBlanc and Xin. If your Xin if you can manage to go unwarded in the early stages, like sweeper for your Raptor camp and make sure they don't have vision on it, when you do one quadrant, do 3 camps and pass through mid lane, LeBlanc can always, you know, go for the setup there. And it doesn't cost you a lot of time, so you can kind of pass through, and then hopefully you can get some big advantages super early on for your mid lane. And then if you do get a successful gank, you know, getting the flash and a big chunk of HP, even if you don't get the kill, then your LeBlanc can make sure that you don't get invaded afterwards, even though you showed crossing through mid lane. Hopefully you've gotten your early, you know, mid lane advantage, and that can help with the mid jungle. But yeah, big magnifying glass on mid jungle for this one.
Very much agree with you. Let's get into game 1 of the day here between BNK, FearX, and G2. A do-or-die scenario as Caps is spotted out walking around the corner here. Diablo and Raptor on the chase. Caps will jump across straight into Diablo. Should be able to escape the clutches of the AD carry, but it's going to take over half his health for doing so. Gets the passive out as well. Huge for BNK.
It's super smart from them too, because they know there's going to be so much pivoting on mid jungle that they have the level 1 to prep for it. Kellen might pay the price though.
Big root onto Kellen with the high note. He has to use the heal. Diablo's trying to get across here, but LeBlanc and Hansama will see if they can keep him at bay. Caps chunked out, electrocute on either side here. Trading in the mid lane already.
Yeah, so super smart level 1 defense here from BNK, having Diablo over there, but Kellen
has to flash. Hans flashes forward, but Kellen flashes just in time. Hans and LeBron winning out the 2v2 on the bot side because Diablo was here so late. He's going to trade back in, and Hans now has no flash.
Oh, man. Did you see that, too? Ashe had the arrow notched in the bow.
She was ready, and Senna is ready on patch 26.6 as well. You can check out Warhound Senna's. Diablo has to use the cleanse immediately. A portion of those skins proceeds will be shared across all the LoL Esports teams. So if you want to support your team, grab that Warhound Senna.
Wow, really good punishment from Hansama and Lebrov in this. You know, they see Diablo punishing Caps in the level 1, and they just take advantage. It's still 0 CS. Okay, he got 1. Diablo got one down there.
He'll get caught out again.
Oh my goodness.
It's really good trading from the G2 bot lane. Diablo and Kellen paying for that early game. You see the move here into mid. Level 3 from Skirmishing as he goes for Vikla, lands the knock up. See a Vault Breaker coming out from Raptor as well. He'll be able to get away. Vikla escapes without burning a summoner, but Skirmishing might look for the invade. Raptor able to secure his Raptors before Skirmishing can really get there.
Medic, that's the exact 3-camp cross through mid we're talking about, and Skirmishing continues it.
Wind becomes lightning. Audacious charge already used. Raptor forced away. Bot lane push still there for G2, which means Skirmishing thinks he's safe enough to push in and take this red. You can see Caps coming across for the red steal as well. Diablo having to flash away down to 100 HP. As G2 currently putting the pressure down onto BNK.
They certainly are doing that. Summoner spells are all gone from the BNK bottom lane here, and Diablo with 7 CS is going to have to walk home. How much do you think you can get from the 10-cent store here with his 7?
Man.
All right, he got his brown bag boots.
Yeah, get a bit of leather, put it on your toes as Skirmishing did steal away the red. Lebrov here, looking for Kellen. Didn't quite get the slow from the volley out of Hansama, which means the follow-up with the beat drop not enough. Skirmishing's coming across. Kellen has no flash. Wind becomes lightning. Q3 knock up Hansama there for the chase. And this time the arrow finds its mark. G2 get first blood.
G2 punishment on bottom lane. This is brutal. The Ashe and Seraphine, so much poke, so much CC from them. Interesting Raptor, very dangerous move, buddy. He's been scouted with the Scryers too. Guess what? Caps can drop his cannon wave and come over here.
He'll get the cannon, drop the rest of the wave. The chase continues as Caps chains don't connect, meaning that Raptor does escape through the jungle, but didn't manage to steal away too much.
Whew. Yeah,
what a start to this game, man.
Very, very dangerous. Yeah, exciting start, and I love it actually from both sides where, you know, G2 trying to attack towards this bottom lane, really punish the BFX attempts on Caps, and they burned Caps' passive, but look at the mid lane. He's been completely fine because of it. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, they did get the first blood, and it went into Hans Sama's pockets there, so he's got the fully upgraded boots. You know, it's like Diablo is over here on some old thrift store boots, and Hans Sama's got some brand new sneakers.
He's got the Jordans, you know.
He's got the extra attack speed, which goes a long way for Ashe here, because of the slow that you can provide with a Seraphine on your side too, backing it up. There's so much threat with that extra movement he's invested in.
Interesting parting as well from Skirmon. Didn't actually do his blue on his first rotation because he saw that Raptor was moving up towards topside. Wants to match where Raptor is on the map as much as possible. So clears out his topside to match Raptor. Now will reset, get himself that tunneler, and then work his way down towards the bottom side of the map.
And it's also a good ward from, you know, FearX here. They, well, it actually expires now.
The one that was on the blue, though.
Yeah, exactly. Expires now, but they're going to be able to assume that he is over there re-clearing now. And so both junglers should have a pretty good idea. Meanwhile, Raptor is, you know, further along his journey towards this level 6, this big point for the Vi Ahri that we are mentioning. And as long as he can smoothly clear and finish up, try and get to his level 6, then they can try and look for their punish. But at the moment, because of the bot pressure, it really means Skirmon is full confidence starting up this dragon. They've got also full vision of Raptor here, so
Caps can stay a little bit safer knowing that Raptor's around. Skirmon's sticking on the Drake for now. The chains, Raptor has to use the Vault Breaker to get away. And as you say, a free enough dragon as Caps jumps forward. Vikla looking for the damage here with the charm and the electrocute. Caps having to dash back. Doesn't have the Mimic right now. 5 seconds before he has that extra spell cast, but still G2 will be able to take the Drake, and then Skirmon can work his way back towards his blue buff and his wolves.
Yeah, bot lane supremacy, free dragon, and the Seraphine even getting to roam up through the river as well. The investment in wards here with the multiple control wards as well as trinket wards from G2 on this the river between bottom and mid lane, the highway here. Really helping out the possible gank avenues. Raptor once again though wants to slip in and try and take something away, but there's an annoying Ashe on the enemy team, so they're gonna see that you've done this at the very least.
That's the thing, right? You can't really contest it. Your jungler's on the bottom side of the map. Your mid laner was pushed under tower. Your top laner was really struggling into the Gnar matchup. We haven't really talked about it too much, but Clear has built himself up a sizable advantage just in that 1v1, and we're almost still at 22 CS ahead and about 600 gold as well.
Yeah, and it does mean as long as you have the information, then you can just go, okay, fine, I'm going to get the bottom Scuttle Crab, and I'm going to get to my level 6 here for Skirmon off that dragon, off of bot Scuttle Crab, and the rest of his camps here able to get to his level 6 just fine. So, man, it is just always so nice to have the Ashe Seraphine lane with big advantages because you have lane priority, you get the Hawk Shot as well, and now you've got access to the Ashe Arrow, the initiation here. So they're going to have to be very wary of the next G2 play.
BNK will have to be a bit cautious around it, but their solo laners are having a really good whale of a time right now. 400 gold lead in mid for Vikla over Caps, keeps him low. Enchanted Arrow will land onto Vikla. The wave cleared out there, the chains. Oh, they have to be careful! Oh, Caps and Hansama teaming up for a beautiful play in mid.
I'm going to say 10 out of 10. That was a literal 10 out of 10 play. Can you please clip that thing? That was the cleanest I've ever seen. And the best part, the cherry on top that bumps it up to a perfect 10 is Caps walking away from the death at the end. Look at this. Full channel on that Ashe Arrow, so it's so far away. The stun is there. Caps changes him and he walks away off screen, leaves the tower to finish.
Nice call, Caps.
Nice call, Caps.
Caps
so
calling for it.
So, I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to the Ashe. Like, Caps called for it, but Hansama hit it.
The French sniper has to find his mark, right? Gets the kill as the wave cleared out by Caps in response. Grubs taken for G2. Gold lead still only about 500. Next Drake 2.5 minutes away, but a strong early start from G2 generally.
And Medic, when I said you got to be aware of the Ashe arrow engaged, it's kind of hard when it's coming through the jungle wall
nice
like
charm
that.
onto Captain. He dashes away. Skirmon and Raptor going to trade down towards the bottom side of this fight. Vikla with the Spirit Rush looking for more, as Raptor did have to burn his flash to get away. G2's bot lane was collapsing. Because of that, Raptor didn't want to stay in the area.
Yeah, and that's the advantage, again, all this vision for G2 through this river. They're keeping that river lit up so they can always respond to these plays, get there in time. Labrov doing a very good job of transferring this bottom lane advantage that they do have with the roams up there. So Dragon advantage and the 3 Grubs advantage for G2. But the gold is still very close. Biggest difference, of course, is the Ashe advantage here with the kill for Hansama versus the top lane CS advantage.
Whoa! Vikla with these charms, though, continues to land. Caps has to flash away. Vikla in the 1v1 is getting on top of Caps relatively often.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the Ashe arrow, then he would have be dominating. Yeah, but the Ashe arrow on Sama there kind of equalized it for him. Besides that, Vikla had been doing quite well.
Yep. The battle between these junglers is something that has really started off this game well. Skirmon and Raptor fighting for pressure, not only around the camps, but around these neutral objectives, the Grubs, the Drake. We have that next Drake coming up in a minute. And both of these junglers are so important to the initial portions of the game for their team. They set their team up really well for success. I think for BFX, BNK, when you look at it, it's Diablo that you really look at as the carry later on, but it's Raptor who gets him to that point.
Yeah. Definitely agree, and for G2, it's been really fun to watch the evolution of Skirmon as Vikla here with some more dodging versus Caps as the 3 members of G2 had converged around. If that does hit, then they definitely pounce on Vikla, but nice little W activation and dodge to the side. Vikla will be fine, as Vedius has deemed him our LCS representative in this match.
He's doing well for an LCS mid laner.
Technically, I would say, hey, Vedius, Hansama also played in the LCS. So, like,
Broken Blade.
Are you going to give us credit for Hansama? Because I think I'm going to take that credit.
I'll be honest, if G2 win, you can have credit for the man. I'm 100% on board with that.
I'm taking it because Hansama won mid lane for Caps with the Ashe arrow, or at least equalized it for him. Didn't even actually get him ahead with it. And they're crushing bottom lane. So I think LCS is doing great in this game. Medic?
I agree with you, Kobe. I agree. BNK using a little bit of time to get control around this bot side river. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow doesn't connect onto Raptor as he is able to dash away. Second Drake, the target for both these teams. Diablo a little bit isolated here. As the chase comes in, he does have cleanse and flash. Volley doesn't connect. No slows yet. Beat drop as well.
Nice walking.
Well walked away. Yep. Man, the devil on his shoulders like, go back in, go back in. No. Diablo able just to walk away safely. Fault breaker out from Raptor isn't going to find anyone, just trying to keep G2 away as Diablo clears away this ward.
Okay, here we go. The moment of truth. Vi ult is ready. Clear just got his Trinity Force. Clear is teleporting in with Trinity Force ready. And a big shield.
A third sack on the Mega Narbar. Caps trying to go in. Beat drop on court. Follow up as they dive onto Vikla, who does have the flash and manages to get away. Broken Blade trying to get onto the back line as Raptor falls low. All out on him. He's down. Hansama trading with Clear, who's keeping the rest of G2 away from the fight. But the smite comes out and G2 win out on the battle, get a kill and get the Drake.
Yeah, they're just more coordinated. They destroy them. Burst damage is there. Broken Blade and Caps going to be able to push mid lane afterwards as well. And even the knockback here. But yeah, they just delete him. They push Vikla out of the fight with the combo there, even though they don't actually get the kill onto Vikla. But they completely push him out of the fight, and they're able to run right into the dragon and delete Raptor. Take a look at this. And the minimap is critical, because the minimap shows that Diablo and Kellen so far away down there on the bottom side that G2's coordination, everybody here, 5 people strong, completely blasts the team fight. And even though they had Clear teleport in first, it's the bottom lane that is desynced for BNK.
Yeah, Clay was doing his job. He kept 3 people from G2 away from the fight, got towards the Mega Gnar, wasn't able to do as much as he'd like, but because of G2's coordination on the initial kill on Raptor, they could just go in, steal away the Drake, and then walk up towards that one remaining member on the top side. G2 now with a 1.4k gold lead, 13 minutes in.
kind of a head scratcher there, honestly, from FearX, as top lane advantage didn't mean anything, even with the earlier teleport, because the rest of the team's just not there. We'll see about the next one, though. 1,000 gold lead for Hans Sama. He's got his extra move speed with the Storm Razor, so very, very mobile here with the extra move speed and the safety of the Seraphine. Seraphine team fighting could go huge. BFX or BNK, certainly though, they still have their potential for assassinating targets and big dive.
Broken Blade stopping clears reset here. Does still have the flash. Will have to use it to get away from Victor's charm. Victor using a good timing there to move up from mid and make sure that Broken Blade had to use his summoner spell. Clear with a sizable chunk of change as his advantage in top lane.
Meanwhile, see what Caps is able to do with his double buffs. Always so fun here on LeBlanc, being able to use that to harass even more frequently. Raptor,
he spotted on a ward.
definitely, they know, and there's nothing you can do here. Like, it's Mini-Gnar and G2 have the extra power, so they can just brute force this tower down. G2 gonna keep it rolling here. First tower bonus.
The extra gold out of that. Coinbase gold grind for Hans Sama. 1.4k ahead, which is not something I think any of us thought would be the case coming into this series. Diablo is so often the key carry for this BFX team.
Yeah, and to have this completely turned around. Remember how this game started with them having Diablo up towards mid lane and trying to chunk out Caps and being so worried about the mid jungle that bottom lane for G2 was able to punish Kellen a lot, kind of isolated, and then once Diablo joined too, since Kellen was so low and had burned so many summer spells, then they keep that punishment going, and G2 really snowballed that so effectively after like reacting to a level 1 that now it sets them up here with 1,000 gold lead, 2 dragon lead, and looking at Rift Herald.
Vikla off towards the top side of the Herald pit. Diablo and Raptor are there. And Crystal out, flashed away by Raptor. Pop blocks and doesn't land onto anyone but Broken Blade. Meanwhile, Skimon on the backline's going to pop that Crescent Guard. Season Desist going on to Caps as well, who flashes away himself. Encore onto Diablo. He dashes away with the cleanse as well to escape the fray, but Raptor doesn't have that same luxury. He'll die to Skimon. G2 still looking for the advance, but they can't get close enough to catch out BNK.
Woo, Caps lives. That is so close to death there. He squeaks away with the distortion into the back of the pit. And everything is really coming up G2. I mean, yeah, Raptor did get the Rift Herald, but going down, they're also going to lose out on the rest of their map pressure here. So very nice extra pickup for G2.
Able to run away in time with the Foxfire. Doesn't have flash, so there was a little risk of Broken Blade going in, Pathmaker, all outing him back towards Skewmond.
Yeah.
But Vikla smart enough to avoid any of G2's clutches. So you say the Rift Herald did go over to BNK, so they might be able to crack through this tower with 30 seconds left on the Drake as well. Kellen stepping a bit too far forward, caught out by the beat drop. There's the chains as well. And Kellen taken out on this Nico. Hasn't had the best of times on this pick across the tournament. He played it in game 1 against BLG as well and really struggled.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous path there to take, my friend. And a good punish once again. The G2 bottom lane just smacking Kellen. All right, well, this is going to pose problems for the mid game because you've got a LeBlanc level 11. You know, this is where you get your rank 2 ultimate, obviously, and your power spike really coincides with your first item, your upgraded Sork shoes, and your extra 4 stacks on your Darksteel. So you get a lot of room to work with on this poke champion.
This is Soul Point as well for G2. Ocean Soul, a possibility for them. There's the Rift Herald put down by Raptor, try and get the charge in the mid lane, try and get Cryo for BNK to step in, but this Drake is already gone. Clear looking for a flank position. G2 can walk away before BNK can really react. The Rift Herald charge will come in, but it doesn't even take down the tower. Crystal dodged away by Raptor. Vikla going in with the Spirit Rush, but dashing out with it as well. In the end, G2 will get the Drake, will kill off the Herald, and won't lose too much for it.
Yeah, feeling pretty strong here. I mean, Hansama's on his 2 items, got his PD finished as well. And
there goes Mega. Diablo. Oh, it's Kellen actually who was caught out. He was cosplaying as Diablo there for a second. The Shape Splitter blocking the chains. Diablo now is trying to get across. It looks like BNK are playing for that bot lane tier 1. Maybe even for a fight as G2 could look to defend it.
Raptor's cooking here. He wants to be able to burst somebody, you know, Vi ultimate with Diablo close, but Let's see if they can actually find one. Okay, control ward.
Taps the target, dashes away. Raptor goes in with the cease and desist onto LeBron, but the encore is going to land as well.
Nice.
LeBron might just be sacrificed here. BNK with a great pick, finding LeBron in the river.
But look what it cost them, you know, since they have everybody down here, that's going to be top, just getting demolished. Broken Blade is up there, getting multiple tower plates. Vikla, of course, is able to finish up the bottom tower to kind of answer there. But so much also dropped here on the top side of the map that G2's gold lead is still about 1,000. And the biggest thing, Medic, 3.5 minutes.
Yeah,
very early
minutes.
soul.
As you say, before that Ocean Soul comes up. The lead for Clear as well, still 1.5k. He's been having a really good time on this Gnar, but Broken Blade, he is just a tank. He's going to scale up into the game, doesn't need as much gold as someone like Clear, who is going to face check here. Pathmaker in, Wind becomes Lightning as well. Clear looking for the Gnar, will land a stun, but the Q3 is going to be procced by Skirmon as they continue to chase in. All out pulls Clear away from the wall. He's going to flash. Hansama caught out as Caps jumps in the way of the charm. Hansama taken down though. Vikla secures the kill. Caps looking for cannon, can't land the second chains. Meanwhile on the top side, Clear was able to escape with the help of Raptor.
Wow, we got the revenge right there. Kellen and Diablo able to burst him down. Vikla here still looking for more as well. They're going to get a tower. And just like that, BNK, they retake the gold lead. They wipe that G2 gold lead off of the map. And now we're 240 away from the Dragon, so you can start doing your early setup here.
Yeah, huge swing for BNK. I'd love to see how this was set up. Again, it's a pick in the jungle. They're playing around this red buff. Lebrov caught out initially, and Kellen just finds a great engage onto Hansama.
Yeah, revenge of Kellen. And it just timed so well, too. As soon as Caps came in, you know, he's just going for the Ashe here, and they're able to snag both of them. G2 starting to get a little bit nervous now. You know, they had so much confidence with how well this early game has gone, and the Dragons stacking. So much power of the Dragons, though, is all in the last one, the final one for the Dragon Soul. So we'll see about that next fight. And look at that. That's not like a graphic, you know, ending early. Yep. That actually just went back to 0. Yep. That's
50-50 between the two teams now. You either win or you lose, and Diablo sitting at 2 items. Kraken Slayer and Fiend Hunter bolts completed for him. This guy having an absolute stormer of a first stand, 2 pentakills so far.
Yeah.
Now, basically even on itemization with Hansama. Hansama does have an extra BF sword, but in terms of completed items, they're basically...
That's a big sword.
Yeah.
Right there. Meanwhile, Vikla, as Vedius in the analyst desk, has decided that he is our LCS rep. I'll happily take it. The Ahri looking pretty good with some burst damage now. He actually went for the Lichbane burst damage, so we'll weave in those autos. And it all comes down to this next Dragon fight, Medic, and who's going to be able to get some early positioning, because there are really big pick opportunities. Wait a second. Mid lane here, there is an Ashe arrow ready to fire, so have to be a little bit careful.
Diablo does still have the cleanse and the flash. It would obviously be good for G2 to get those summoners out before the fight begins, but do you want to be using the arrow and then not have it up for the battle? Skumon's going to try and take away the Scuttle Crab, but Raptor's here. Skumon healing up with the Thunder Sky. TP is coming in as BNK want to take the fight. Skumon diving forward, takes the kill on the enemy jungler, uses the Crescent Guard to mitigate some of the damage, and then will flash away. Vikla flashing in, gets the charm onto LeBron. Pop Blossom as well, but it's only going to land onto the sport. LeBron is down. Broken Blade Trader clear down towards the bottom side. Vikla trying to come to the back line as well, but Hansama takes him out. Diablo now in the midst of them. The Gnar against the wall. Diablo trying to get out of vision in the bush, but it's warded. Caps jumps across. Clear goes down. Diablo trying to escape. G2 don't want to let him, but they might just have to. Caps will have the distortion. G2 will give up the ghost on Diablo, but will turn their eyes towards the soul.
Oh, Hansama was gliding on them at the end there, putting that big sword to work, Medic. And look at this, the jungle fight, the jungle ego battle right by the crab. Skumon says, fine, you want to go on me? I will delete you. My friends over the wall here, Hansama and Lebrov were able to help him out. Lebrov does get hit with the charm because it was an attempted follow-up at Skumon. You know, Vikla was trying to go for him, but they only deleted the Seraphine, and so that opened up the rest of the fight. Caps and Hansama here, the carries still free-firing him. They chase them down, everybody except for Diablo. And that is going to be Dragon fight number 2. Here we go. Start it again.
Ninjala Crystal Arrow about to come off cooldown. Diablo with no flash. Hans has his and his barrier. Broken Blade on that front line. Clear trying to build up the Mega Gnar. Raptor in the back of the pit. Caps just waiting. Seeing if he can find a way in. Raptor starting up the Drake. Clear, keeping Broken Blade at bay. Caps dives onto Raptor, who tries to get onto Hunt Summer. There's a cease and desist Crescent Guard to stop Vikla from getting the Spirit Rush in. That Crescent Guard was gorgeous. Hunt Summer's still alive as well. They'll take down two. Callan kept at bay by Broken Blade and put in the dirt. G2 take 3 for naught and will claim the soul.
They keep Hunt Summer safe and they claim the soul. They can walk over to Baron's side of the map now too with the Ocean Soul regeneration here, Medic.
It's the Mastercard priceless moment of the game for G2. Can it buy them a Nexus? As you say, they'll walk across towards the Baron. Still 15 seconds on Raptor. Vikla with no TP is coming up in 10. G2 will try and get all the buffs they can for now. And then we'll see if they can break the backs of BNK.
Yeah, I think that might just do it, Medic. They get the soul, they're gonna get the Baron. Let's take a look at this. As we're, well, it's gonna be a little difficult to do, but you can tell in the slideshow, they're going for Hansama, Vi ultimate, and they tried to do the Ahri follow-up. But Ahri got knocked aside, as you called out, and they were unable to finish on Sama. He still had his flash, still had his barrier to be able to survive there and used it very effectively. So G2, now they're in a very commanding position here in game number 1.
But what BNK have shown us is they are willing to set up these bush breaks, these picks, getting to the enemy jungle, sneak behind enemy lines and find these picks. And if they can continue to do that, they will delay G2 on this push. It's only the first Baron of the game. They have 2.5 minutes left with it, but they still have so many structures to get through if they're going to get towards those inhibs.
They certainly do. Let's see if they can tend to the side lane as well. Currently, Vikla pushing on top side, trying to get one lane going for BNK. Meanwhile, the rest of G2 can link up here. 4-1 split push for them. They keep Caps mid to deal with the BNK onslaught. And with Baron buff, I mean, they're just going to delete this tower, so...
No TPs as well on BNK because they were using those previous Dragon fights. So if Vikla does continue to push, there's the option for G2 to try and just force in towards the inhib. It looks like that's what they're going to do.
At the very least, Vikla probably has his empowered recall up right now.
True, yeah.
And should be able to get back quicker. So we see Vi channeling recall early.
Yeah, Vikla's still there on the tier 2 and top side. The plate will be taken by G2 on this inhib tower. Vikla will go and get that enhanced recall. G2 still knocking on the doors of these inhibitor towers while Caps pushes in mid. Flank position from Callan, but that is just the shape splitter clone. While this is happening, Caps continues to chip away at that mid tier 1. That will go as well. G2 extending the gold lead, 1.6k so far off this Red Bull Baron power play.
Okay. BNK actually mitigating the gold loss from those double big objectives quite well. Here we go.
Cease and desist onto Caps. Vikla there with a chase as well, but Caps dodges away and dodges the charm. Can he escape the clutches of BFX? The answer for now is yes. Pop Blossom doesn't get there. Caps with the Ocean Soul heals up enough. And while this is happening, G2 are knocking on the inhibitors. They'll take the bot lane inhib. And even with BFX looking for the play in mid, G2 still come out on top.
Cap says, now you see me, now you don't. Vi ult, Ahri ult, Nico ult as well, and he still lives.
And now G2 will look to push in mid. No cease and desist, no Spirit Rush, no Pop Blossom as you say. This tower not long for the rift, you have to feel. And just as we praise BNK for being able to mitigate some of the Baron power play, it has ballooned up to 3,000, could be more as well, because there's another inhibitor tower in G2's sights. Caps trying to jump in. Trade with Vikla, but there's the tower going down, and G2 still have 10 seconds left on the Baron. The inhibitor now their target. They'll take that too. Caps dashes in. Look at Diablo's health. Almost just one shot by Caps there. The Rabadon's Ludens enough for him. But now, with the Baron expiring, we see the resets come out. Charm, Pathmaker used to avoid it. Callan's not going to go for any more. And a 5k gold lead for G2.
Yeah, 2 inhibs down as well, makes it really easy. They can just go for their reset, push out on this top lane, use the super minion extra pressure down the other 2 lanes, and close in towards the game 1 Nexus. The real difficult thing for BNK here can they actually pull off a surprise play? Because I think the attempt mid is the correct type of thing. When you're behind like this, you got to do that. And you have to full send and hope that it is just successful next time. Because if you just wait and you kind of huddle up in your base, guess what? The super minions are going to build up. The rest of G2 are just going to siege you, and you will just lose. So you got to take risks. You know, go camp on a brush and try and burst somebody down one lane.
You have a 3-item AD carry as well. He is a full item behind Hans Summer, but if it's Caps or Skewmund or Lebrov, he's going to melt through them pretty quickly if he's there. At the moment, he is on cleanup duty in the mid lane, trying to make sure those super minions don't get too close to the base. BNK have done a good job of getting both the side lanes pushed in before the next objective, which is Elder Drake in 1 minute's time.
Hans Summer's only died one time against a team that has Vi, Nico, Ari, and Gnar all looking for his head.
These LCS players are just gliding at the moment as we see Raptor looking for the flank. Kellen going in with a pop blossom, and Hans Summer is caught, and just as you praise him, he dies immediately. Skewmund will trade onto Kellen. Crescent Guard doing a lot of work here. He's going to heal up as well with the Ocean Soul. Above is taken out. Skewmund trading with Raptor. Caps and Broken Blade diving into the backline. Raptor still surviving for now, but Skewmund's still on the way. Stopwatch out of Caps to try and survive, and he dodges the Orb of Deception from Vikla. Vikla out. Broken Blade will put him in the ground, and now Raptor and Clear, even though you took 4k gold out of G2's pockets at the start of the fight, you still can't win it out. Raptor dashing across the wall, going back in with the Vault Breaker, but look at the Ocean Soul! You just can't heal them! They're lapping up your health and taking you out. G2 win out the fight, and with 20 seconds left on Diablo, possibly can take the game.
Yep, sorry about that one, Hans. That's my bad. Don't even count that death for him. That's a castle curse right there. G2, they're going to get the Elder Dragon off the back of it. They still win the fight, even with the investment. But BNK, you know, props for the fearless engage here. They actually had such a good little flank. You saw at the beginning, Vi coming from the other side, the wraparound. Then they have Kellen going past this brush by Red Buff up to get the engage. And they do delete Hans Sama this time around. Unfortunately for them, they're so far behind that G2 can still win the game with all the
It's the Ocean Soul, man.
Exactly.
It was entirely the Ocean Soul.
And the extra gold, it really helps.
Yeah, sure, but you saw how low so many members of G2 went, and now with the Elder, they will turn their attentions towards the Baron. BNK not really able to contest this. You can't fight into an Elder, especially when you are 7,000 gold behind, but still, BNK show the resiliency that took them to the second spot in the LCK. They show the determination to not give up on the game. And for G2, you're not sweating, but there's a little bit of perspiration perhaps coming out after these last couple of fights. It's the first Elder of first stand secured for G2. The blue, I believe, was taken by Clear, but now with super minions pushing in bot and mid for the next 30 seconds for bot and 1 minute for mid, G2 will just push through this top side.
All right, first Elder at first stands, and hopefully we're going to get more than 3 games as well, because this was a really fun one, Medic. I think it's about to end, but you know, there's always that little tiny ray of hope for BNK. Can they pull off a miracle here against Elder Dragon, plus Dragon Soul, plus Baron buff?
It would be miraculous if they can do it, but I don't put anything past this BNK lineup. The inhibitor will be taken out by G2. Raptor trying to keep the mid wave at bay. G2 pushing in for those Nexus towers. Broken Blade is going to deal with Raptor. First Nexus tower will be raised to the ground. Kellen looking for his engage. There's the pop blossom, gets it onto Hans Summer, but dies for it. Hans Summer so low, Crescent Guard coming out, but once again, you just don't have the damage. A quadra for Hans to round it up as G2 take game 1.
Was really nice to see from G2. So they seem locked in and you know, ready to react. And also, I did like their draft as well. Very solid setup. So we'll see as we get deeper and deeper into Fearless how they are able to keep that going.
So importantly here, G2 are on the blue side, but they'll be on the right side of your screen. So their logo was in the right place there with BFX underneath it. Just one of those slight bugs that happen. So we'll fix that for you.
What they're doing is keeping them on the side of the stage, I think.
Yes, that is what they're doing. But because the tri-code was underneath the wrong logo, I just wanted to call it out. But we'll get it sorted. We're still in the draft, and we'll jump into it as soon as we can, of course. Yeah, I think for BFX, having a bot lane that doesn't start massively behind is good. Vikla was having a really good time into Caps in the 1v1. I think there wasn't a huge amount wrong with what Raptor did in the early game either. either, and Clay was winning out on the top lane. So if you can negate the 600, 700 gold deficit that you fell into because of that, the game becomes a lot easier to play.
For sure, for sure. No need to be a game one Andy this time around either.
We could be.
But you can
we can be. It's the game one of first stand for the LCS or the LEC versus an LCK or LPL team.
Yeah, true. Okay, so Rumble. Most common picks into Rumble are Ornn and Galio, and they got and stuff like Aurora and stuff if you wanted to super punish lane, but that's not really the type of vibe that G2 have been going for with top lane. It's been more the tanky answers into stuff, and so they're going to continue with that type, and they go with the Ornn. And honestly, I like this start already because it is massive team fight engaged, and trying to build for team fights and build for dragon stacking is a very winning strategy. It's also one of the more simple strategies to execute, and seems like a good natural kind of progression here for G2. Now, they get the Nami early, so you can do the Nami Lucian, or you can just do Nami Corki, Nami Ezreal. Plenty of options there. And I think picking Lucian into Diablo is something. So I'm actually hoping that Hans goes for an Ezreal or Corki instead.
But the Nocturne and the Mel are going to be the picks for BNK. We saw Victor's Mel against BLG, had a really solid performance on it. And of course, Nocturne at the moment, just such a good jungler. The ability to gank with Paranoia, but also in team fights to be able to turn off the lights on your opponents. And you've got Solar Snare, you've got the Equalizer coming down. You have all of these things that your opponents have to deal with while you're just there with full vision of what's going on.
Yeah. All right, nice. We get the Corki instead. I too, I would not pick Lucian into Diablo. He's one of the best Lucians I've ever seen in my life. So Corki here, very versatile, has a good escape, obviously, for himself, and lots of options of how to play. Good burst damage, can rely on rockets for later too. And you have to get some AD carry with a dash. That's why we're looking at him. When you're playing against Rumble, everybody wants a dash, so you can get off the hot lava.
Yeah, you need to be able to get out. Interesting that we have a sort of a mismatch in terms of picks so far. Top support and AD for G2, top mid and jungle for BNK, which gives them the option to ban away some mid laners that might be good into the Mel, ban away some junglers they don't want skirmishing getting his hands on, but it also gives G2 the option to get rid of some of these AD carries that they're worried about. Diablo's Ezreal, absolutely legendary at this point. He's so good on this pick. Getting rid of that when you already have good poke from the rest of the team makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and they're trying to also take away mobile AD carries because Ornn ult and Nami ult are really hard to get away from if you don't have dashes. And so they want to remove all doubt that they would be able to hit those. So there you go, Lucian ban. Big respect to Diablo with those two, Ezreal and Lucian. As we went over, I think both very good denials for him. The thing with BNK's comp right now, you don't have the best way to keep people on Rumble ult still. And like, whenever you're first picking Rumble, I feel like you really need that type of thing. And so for Kellen, it's like, all right, we're definitely going to get Kellen something with CC. Exactly.
Is what I'm feeling.
It's going to pair with a Nocturne and with a Rumble engage, and you have to have hard CC to keep people there.
You could also go for something like a Rakan. Nocturne goes in, the Rakan follows up with the quickness, and you put the Equalizer down on that. But I think like a Nautilus Kai'Sa here would be okay for me for BNK. I think it struggles a little bit it struggles quite a lot into the Corki Nami lane, but later on for team fights, which is what BNK really have developed, those sort of skirmishy team fights, I don't mind those two as picks. G2 will get the Azir for caps. Haven't seen too much of the Emperor of Sarima at this tournament, but we see a bit of him when we get towards these second, third tier mid laners generally.
G2 really going for the scaling then. They've got Ornn upgrades for later and Azir for later as well. I will say, if Mel can land the poke onto Azir early, though, that seems like it's going to be painful. So it depends on if you can land it now. It is a little bit more difficult to get all of the value out of the Mel poke, but they did buff up the damage on it, so it feels quite nice. And there you go. There's exactly what you were calling for, Medic. And we get the dive combination from the bottom lane. Rakan Nocturne engage is always crazy fearsome. Mel really good follow-up, by the way, with the buffs on her snare. So If they are quick about it, and they will be, that engage looks terrifying for
Yeah, it's
BNK.
very much if we pick someone, they are dead. Unless they are Valkyrieing out or flashing out, or a good Emperor's Divide comes out from G2. Jarvan is the final pick for skirmishing, something he can do a lot of work on in the early game.
Yeah, I think the one item timing is going to be painful for G2. So
yeah,
we'll see how they deal with that once BNK get their one items and start to use a lot of these engage tools. How much gold are you giving up is kind of the question here.
You do want to play towards those team fights, but if BNK get a solid lead in the early game, they are so good at just suffocating you out of the game, taking fights on in their advantage, forcing you back away from your towers, taking the towers, getting into your jungle. It will be a struggle for G2 and really good for BNK if they can get that 1,000 gold lead or something on Diablo through the early laning phase.
Yeah. We'll see, because both G2 solo lanes, I feel like, should be, like, they're just looking for scaling.
Low priority.
Yeah, so we'll see.
That we will. Let's get on in to game 2 of this best of 5 between the LCK #2 seeds, BNK, FearX, and the LEC #1 seeds, G2. Who were able to pick up game 1 in pretty convincing fashion. Something I think a lot of us were surprised to see, but BNK have been in this sort of position before. They've been playing T1, they've been losing games to Gen G, they've been able to come back from losing the first game of a series very effectively. G2 cannot let their foot off the gas, especially in a game where they are playing for later spikes than their opposition.
Yeah, I definitely rather be BNK's side in this one. Let's see about the execution and the level 1. Will we get any shenanigans here in the level 1? Looks like a couple of early wards down.
No shenanigans. They've shenaned once. They're not going to shenan again.
Okay. I have practiced doing fake labs with Freak. How would you rate my fake labs there?
I got a boo from the producers, and that's always my goal when I make fun like that, right? So Cap's trading a tiny bit in the mid lane, but Cap's just trying to get the wave pushed in where he can. It's Conqueror on Han Summer on this Corki. They do manage to get a little bit of pressure onto Kellen and Diablo. As expected, like Nami Corki, especially with the ebb and flow level 1, you have so much healing and damage coming out. You can see Kellen on the wrong side of that trade. But the ward for G2 in this push, BNK in this push. We'll see if Lebrov decides to clear it out. Gleaming Quill used by Kellen to heal up, and the Phosphorus Bomb just sidestepped well by the BNK bot lane.
Yeah, and those little trades are pretty meaningful, those little bits of health. Kellen was positioning forward in the brush because he knew Nami's going to come in for the trade, so then he can get his Q off, then you can get the healing and dodging, as you say, the Phos Bomb. All these little bits of health add up so much, as we know from the first game, and so this time around, doing a little bit better than previously.
And BNK in their first ever international tournament here. They've been close in the past. 2019 as Live Sandbox almost made it to Worlds, and then 2022 as well almost made it through, but, or 23, sorry, almost made it through, but have just been slightly shy, whereas G2 so often the EU representative. Always here. Well, it's the first time they were at first stand, but always at MSI and Worlds, so consistently the top team in the LEC.
Yeah, so frequently the representative that everybody knows them, everyone well aware, and I like the the interviews that we had with the BNK players where they're all talking about, we've seen a lot of VODs of G2, and we know they have so much international experience, so it's going to be really fun to go up against them on the international stage and really see what they can pull off. Let's see, though. Both bottom lane and top lane pushing early for G2. As skirmishing does finish up his full clear a little bit ahead of time, and since his bot lane is pushing and you've got a recall timer for Diablo, that Scuttle Crab is looking pretty good for skirmishing, but there will be a Nocturne waiting in the brush. So can he get his Q trade?
Let's
nice.
Bring it out, looking for the fear as well. Lebrov's on his way across. Ebb and Flow. With a healing onto skirmishing. TP coming out from Vikla. Kellen trying to work his way around here as well. G2 do have control of the river right now. Han Summer here, meaning they'll force Raptor away. Pops. Dispel Shield can't get away from the bubble without his flash. Kellen dashes in, but then has to dash out. Yeah,
I guess the comms there were, hey, let's play on Vikla's teleport, and when Vikla comes back, let's do this. But I think it's just a better play from G2, using their pushing bottom lane and having Nami there early. There was no hesitation from skirmishing. He was like, okay, you're going to wait for your teleport and stare at me. I EQ at you immediately. We get your spell shield. We get your flash with the Nami bubble as well, the fault from Lebrov. So G2, they're not playing that game. They're not waiting for the teleport to come back for Vikla. They jump on you, get your flash early, and It's a very small lead, but it is the first like summoner spell lead of the game.
Hansama though, taking a poor path back to the bot lane, going to be forced away from his cannon and misses it. -1 for him. Diablo already at that level 4 stayed in the bottom lane when Hansama came up for the fight around the Scuttle Crab. Lebrov and Kellen currently bodyguarding their mid laners. Cap's caught out with the Grand Entrance. Aqua Prism not going to land onto anyone, but Cap's just trying to get this wave in as soon as he can. Chunked out a little bit, as will be Kellen. In the end, Kellen should just be able to walk away from this one pretty effectively. Cap's trying to trade back onto Vikla, dodging away from the Soulless there, and Kellen does have to use the Grand Entrance.
All right, back to farming pretty normally. Yeah, that cannon was so off limits because he had full plasma stacks on it too.
Like, do not step
Diablo
forward.
was like, please go for it, bro. Please let me see you greed. All right, want the last of this, the last auto for this plasma stack, but Hans is not going to greed. He is not going to go down there. And they're still very, very close here across the board, except an expected lead in gold for Clear here, who is going the Comet for the extra, in-lane damage and really trying to punish.
Yeah, not going for the first strike, which is kind of a money printer on the Rumble, instead deciding that he wants to try and keep Broken Blade lower on HP. Clear having a really good game one in the 1v1 as well. We're getting about 1,500 gold lead solo into Broken Blade after having a pretty underwhelming performance so far here at first hand. Both these top laners, I'd say Broken Blade had his Shen game and now Clear has had his Gnar game, but neither of them have really popped off in the way that they would have wanted.
But now they get to play against each other.
Exactly. This is how we skew the statistics, Kobe.
Don't have to play against Bin here. And see as the farming continues. I mean, now we're done with our second full clears for junglers, so you get a decent amount of time for action. And bottom side, I mean, the Scuttle Crab is spawning top side. It would be better action if it was spawning on the bottom side, but we're going to have the same brush camp from Nocturne. So Nocturne doing the same brush camp, go for the Q trade, interfere, and bottom lane.
Lebrov is so low, has to use the heal here as Kellen landed the knocker. Valkyrie away from Hansama as well, and because of that, Skewmon cannot really contest in the river. Lebrov getting caught with that knockup out of Kellen.
Yeah, I guess heal for heal traded for bottom side.
Caps in with the Emperor's Divide onto Vikla here, just trying to trade in as much as possible. Rebuttal out, but Caps is low on mana. Looks like he was just trying to get Vikla low because he wants to try and contest around this top side scuttle. Skewmon on his way across. Both the junglers already have the upgraded smite, 20 stacks on their pets. But with Clear having push in the top side, G2 decide, well, we can't really contest this.
Yeah, if he could get him a little further, unfortunately for him, it was like right next to that wall. But if he could have pushed him a little bit further, then maybe Skewmon could have got there. I think Skewmon was a tiny bit ahead on joining the mid lane, and so he was hoping. Wait, Skewmon's going to wrap around. So Skewmon's going to wrap around here. Vikla still has flash, but he's going to have to hedge towards the bottom side.
Skewmon now spotted by the minions. Flash, flag, and drag. Cataclysm for the follow-up. Caps needs to close the gap. The rebuttal won't be enough for Golden Eclipse. Just spells the death of Vikla. Even with the TP coming in from Kellen, he couldn't get there in time.
So good from Skewmon. He knows I can flash early for my EQ, because if you flash this, you're not getting out of Cataclysm, buddy. And so unless Vikla was really hovering even further to the bottom side of the lane, which I think he should have, but unless he's doing that, then there is no way out of this. So Skewmon, who, by the way, what an amazing year for Skewmon's. Really, really impressive stuff, and he's keeping it up here at international play. So the sky is really the limit for this guy. Definitely a huge star. And like I said, the previous play too, I think that Caps was trying to get Vikla just a little bit closer to Skewmon so they could do that play earlier. But Skewmon says, don't worry, bro. It's fine. If he bumped him on the wall, I'll just wrap around from the other side when he's up at the tower. And so Skewmon does not give up on the play, and they still get their first blood.
Importantly for Caps as well, holding onto his flash, whereas Vikla had to burn his, which means a future Emperor's Divide, a lot trickier for Vikla to work around. Drake started though for BNK. They've moved the Abel up here, and I think Skewmon having to go back to clear his topside camps because he left them for the gank. Won't be here in time. So BNK will be able to get their first dragon of the series after G2 were able to secure all 5 in game 1, the Soul and the Elder. And will secure themselves that cloud. It's Ocean up next. See what Soul we have later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to get any dragons when your bottom lane gets mega destroyed early.
I'm not blaming BNK they didn't get any dragons. It was just a fun little fact, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And so this time around, able to get one, although Hans and LeBron here doing a decent job in little health trades, but now once you get to your level 6 spikes for Kaisa and Rakan, now you've got your offensive play available through the river. So it's basically this big play where you have Nocturne ultimate ready to fire, and the bottom lane just has such quick response that it really deserves some respect. And I like what G2 are doing. They're like, okay, fine, we're gonna fully ward up all around this dragon preemptively here to see any sort of approach angles. And if they can use their Corki and Nami poke in lane to soften them up and get some good timers for themselves, then they're in a pretty good spot, honestly. But Raptor,
there's the paranoia. Caps trying to get away, has to use that flash. I thought he was going to get a bit closer to the tower with the shifting sands, but couldn't get close enough, and so that is his summoner down. Nice first paranoia. Kellen able to dodge away from the flag and drag out of Skewmon. Grub seemed to be on the mind of Raptors. He's working his way up towards that topside river. Lebrob is here. Kellen just hit level 6, but Lebrob needs one more minion to hit 6 himself. Skewmon still has the Cataclysm and the Emperor's Divides available. Broken Blade looking to pincer from the topside. They'll go for Vikla first. No flash for him. There's the quickness. Equalizer down as well as Caps falls first. And now Skewmon is way too deep. Quarter of the Fortune coming out will help Skewmon get the kill. Lebrov trying to keep Skewmon alive, but he just can't do it. Raptor finds the double, and Clear will find himself some sushi. 3 for BNK as they collapse on G2 making the play.
Yeah, G2 had a lot of information, and they even had information that this Rumble that has been pushing lane and has priority is coming down. And so really good play response here from BNK. G2 reaching too far, thinking that Vikla is more vulnerable than he actually is over there, and trying to go for the all-in on him, but the defense here from BNK and Clear especially, just wrapping it up there on the bottom side. I mean, you can say, oh, dang, like top laner diff, but you know that was the case. Yeah. Rumble is already pushing Rumble in, so and you also had vision on Rumble coming down to this play because you had wards.
Hans looking for Diablo, who's going to use the Killer Instinct shield and the barrier. Exhaust down on Hans Summer from the unsealed spell, but Caps on his way across. Diablo won't fall to the single poke from a soldier, and so we'll be able to walk away. As you say, just positioning-wise, G2 were never going to have the man advantage. Vikla still pushing through mid here. Kellen trying to escape flashes away from the Aqua Prison.
And even though they're thinking, oh yeah, Vikla is like real vulnerable because he doesn't have his flash. Caps didn't have his flash either from the previous Nocturne Paranoia, so good stuff from B.
Caps still doesn't have his flash. Fear Tether, Blast Cone, Prompt, Skewmon trying to come across. But the damage onto Caps is big. Lebrov not there in time for the heal. There's the Paranoia follow-up, and BFX are absolutely popping off in the early game. 1.6k gold lead as they force Skewmon to flash out of his own jungle.
Nice job attacking Caps there next to the red wall, not letting him get over that buff wall. He's unable to get through, so the snowball continues. Yep. Nice explosion of gold lead here. That's also going to be extra summoners down. No flash for Skewmon here on the Jarvan.
And we talked about this is what this BFX composition wanted to do in the draft. They wanted to get these early leads, and they wanted to really force the tempo onto G2. Here again, we see it happening. Caps trying to get across. He knows he's spotted. He's like, well, maybe I can work my way around. Great jump in by Kellen.
Yeah, great job by Kellen. Then Caps doesn't get over the wall. Fear procs. Then the ultimate is able to get the flash as well out of Jarvan as Raptor flashes over the bubble.
Going for Caps again, still doesn't have the flash. Skewmon is here to try and help out his mid laner, who is not having a great time this game. And he will be able to force Raptor away. Caps just trying to farm up towards that second item. First item complete though, onto Raptor. Kellen coming in. Golden Eclipse not enough to kill off Caps. Skewmon trading with Raptor. He's going to flag and drag through, but look at the damage from the Radiant Volley. Into the Solar Snare, into the rebuttal on the Tidal Wave. Caps charmed up. LeBron trying to get there, trying to get the shields out. Aqua Prism not going to hit. Corner of the Fortune coming out from Broken Blade, but it's too little too late. Vikla will eventually fall, but G2 now need to retreat. They've already lost 2, and with the equalizer, make it 3. Fried fish on the menu for Clear as he picks up his second. BFX absolutely collapsing on G2.
Yeah, Vikla playing his range pretty well there on Mel, and then when he sees the opportunity, he wants to go for the flash play, root flash in with Q damage on top to delete Caps. And then top laners both roaming down just means that there's one extra kill for each side, but here's another look at it. He lands the root so you can get your big burst damage of your Q, and then he uses ult kind of early, as you say, but then he stays out of the range of the rest, and we're back to some action here.
BB with the TP onto Clear, who doesn't have Flash Cataclysm available for Skewmon, but doesn't really want to go for it yet. Raptor's on his way across. There's the Paranoia. Lock them both in. Knock them both up. But still, the Flame Spitter enough to get the kill onto Skewmon. Raptor will find it. Shut down for Broken Blade. Raptor trying to trade back in here with that Experimental Hexplate. Has the extra attack speed, but BB flashing away. Searing charge back in into the Bellows Breath. Thought he could perhaps clip the heels of the Nocturne, but Raptor will be able to walk away.
Okay, 1 for 1 on the top side. Jungler 4 top laner down. There's also teleport, though, on Clear, so after Clear gets back, he can teleport up there. Still Broken Blade going to knock off a couple of turret plates. The first 2 are so easy to get that Broken Blade gets paid in a big way here.
Yeah, he was 1,000 gold behind and now only 60 to clear. Evie trying to scale up on this tank. Kellen looking for the knockup. No real follow-up here. This is Portal combat. And yeah, they're both just fighting over as much vision as they can get. Kellen hoping that the ward had gone down, and it had. Lebrov will lose that one from his inventory. And the only place leading at the moment for G2 is Hans Sama in that bot lane. Korkinami into Kaiser Rakan does have an advantageous early game, so kind of to be expected, but huge leads across the rest of the board as the Bob looks for the tidal wave into the bubble onto Kellen. The Valkyrie forward from Hans Sama, and Kellen just thought he could play around with it. Good rebuttal there on the Emperor's Divide, stopping the knockback. But G2 do find the kill onto Kellen. Caps, the Golden Eclipse was not enough to kill him off with the heal out of Lebrov.
Most of support battles over wards are about whose team is going to come first. Yeah. And when Vikla was hovering and Vikla was going to be there first, there was respect from LeBlanc. He was like, okay, fine, you can kill my ward. I'll back off now. And then when my team is coming, you look at the bottom lane, you see Hans coming up and mid lane's back to even. Kellen does not have the same respect that LeBlanc had for the teams converging. And nice bubble from LeBlanc to set that one up.
Yeah, he'd be slightly disappointed that he was the one to pick up the kill.
Nah, that's mine.
Okay, he can be happy, sure. Paranoia onto Caps, who waits with the shifting stance. Then the quickness as well for the follow-up. Aqua Prism not there in time. And perhaps Caps had already shifted, because he didn't even use it to try and get out. Had the flash, but was feared for too long. And because of that now, BFX will be able to secure their second dragon of the game.
Yeah, objective achieved immediately right there. So despite the support kill, doesn't mean a whole lot, just the gold goes over, and Kellen is back into your jungle warding up anyway while they are taking the dragon. So small response, of course. Yeah, you can grab some topside camps there in exchange for this, and it is only dragon number 2, you'd say very hesitantly, but so it's not like dragon soul point, but you're already very, very worried for G2 as far as the timeline goes, because are you going to get time for your Ornn upgrades to come through? He is level 13, so he's got his own upgrade now and can start handing them out fairly soon, but also need a little bit more time for Azir, and the next dragons, they start to come up pretty quickly here, you know, time flies.
Only 4 minutes before we're there for the next one, and with Vikla having a 1.4k lead on this Mel. Having a really good series so far. Caps caught out, has to flash. Aqua Prism, the Shroud of Darkness was used by Raptor to avoid the CC, but again we see Caps getting back out onto the map and then immediately being forced onto the back foot.
Yeah, there's no way you fight over a freaking Rift Herald at this point. When you're trying to like buy every second of time to save gold, good job G2. Just get your gold cross map and do not send anybody out into open territory where they can get Nocturne ulted.
Clear. Clear's going all the way around through the walls here. There's the Equalizer. Paranoia follow-up there. Dive onto Lebrov, who uses the tidal wave. Still feared. Flame Spitter out from Clear underneath the tower. He'll just take 2 immediately. BFX just absolutely wiping away G2 in mid.
It's beautiful because BFX say, guess what? Not only can we Nocturne ult you in open territory, we can Nocturne ult you between your towers while your laners are split pushing, because the Nocturne ultimate fully goes off. So after it is already dark, they can't teleport anybody in, and it is easy to finish the tower dive here. The speed with which they pull it off between the 2 towers, even though there was that nice little lock up there, yeah. They immediately delete 2 people, and this is what you get with the full dive comp from Champ Select. Warning about it, yeah, Hans gets immediately deleted, and the solo laners can't join. They're trying their best to farm up a little bit in the side lanes.
And we talked about the early spikes for BFX. That's exactly what they're utilizing so well here. 2 items completed on Vikla. Clear has his Liandry's and is building up towards his second. You've got 2 items on Raptor. They are forcing the tempo onto G2 at every possible moment, saying, okay, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. Kellen trying to wrap around behind Hans Sama here. Lebrov seeing if he can keep him at bay. The Riftile charge is going to hit onto the bottom tier 1, and that will be the tower alongside it. BFX now 3,000 gold ahead at 19 minutes.
Yeah, so good at pushing their leads, at snowballing, taking over enemy territory. We're also, during the take of the tower, Kellen again putting down the deep wards here in the jungle, you can see, and LeBron finds one of them, but you know when you're like retaking your red side after both of your towers have been taken and mid and bottom are both gone, there's a lot of stuff you have to clean to be able to safely retake that territory.
And it's also like, how does LeBron clean that? Like, he's a Nami, man. This guy is fish food if he walks in there. If anyone is waiting for him, he gets caught out. Emperor's Divide used by Caps onto Callum because of the possible follow-up. There's the paranoia. They'll dive onto Lebrov again. TP coming out from Broken Blade, but Lebrov is already down. And Raptor's just able to walk away. Hans Summer below half HP. Call to the Forge God coming out as G2 looked to see if they can find anything out of this, but BFX are unwilling to give an inch. G2 forced back again by BFX.
Yeah, they delete Lebrov, and the rest of the map is still theirs, even with the teleport in from Broken Blade. It's too late. All the action has already occurred. He wanted to make something out of his ult. He's like, okay, cool, I hit it. And my teleport shield, all good. But the speed with which BFX are pulling off these picks is just too quick. No response here from G2. And this is why we were worried from Champ Select.
100%. And it's also the willingness just to find 1 or 2 picks. Never going like, oh, we've won this fight, let's keep going in a 5v3, because that is where sometimes you can make a mistake, you can give a kill across to the enemy, and that's where they start coming back. BFX are very willing to say, okay, we got enough. We're good. We have our 2 Drakes, next one up in 50 seconds time. You're going to have to fight us around either this one or the Soul. Mountain Soul for us as well is really nice because you're so far behind that extra shield is going to make it really hard for you to actually take us down.
Okay, so Ornn upgrades on Caps and Skewmond for G2. So Broken Blade trying to get that value out of the Ornn, and you know it's only a 3K gold lead at the moment.
Only 2,000 gold in the mid lane. Victor's a whole item ahead of Caps, man. I think it's a pretty sizable chunk of change that BFX are ahead as G2 do look to collapse onto Raptor. Gonna put the Cataclysm down as well. Raptor doesn't have the flash. He's locked in the pit, but BFX are keeping Hansama at bay. There's the Equalizer down as well. Tidal Wave coming out. Caps jumping onto Clear, who flashes away. The Emperor's Divide doesn't find its mark. Meanwhile, the mid lane tower still low. Diablo has to flash away from the Searing Charge. And with the Bellows Breath, Broken Blade should be able to walk out. Golden Eclipse not enough to take him down. Still too tanky, but BFX in the end will still secure the tier 2 in mid.
Yeah, a lot of summoner spells blown in exchange for ultimates here. They did get Diablo.
Skewmond getting caught out here. Solus there for the follow-up, and Skewmond thought that all of BFX had just gone to the Drake, but BFX willing to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, again, trying to retake your red quadrant. It's so dangerous. You're playing against Rakan and Proto Belt Mel as well for Vikla with the extra mobility from it. And the Chovy Proto Belt meta fully upon us. I mean, really good engage, obviously, with the ultimate from Diablo. Can always follow that up, and so there's plenty of damage. Dragon number 3 acquired for BNK and probably Baron as well.
They immediately double TP'd out with Kellen and with Clear, and they'll start up the Baron. I don't think G2 really have a way to answer this, with Skewmon still dead, now only just spawning. Like, can you really step into this darkness? The answer, very resounding no. BFX will secure not only the 3rd Drake of the game, but also their first Baron. As at 23 minutes, they have this 5,000 gold lead. And for G2, you're looking at it and you're saying, well, how much can we scale? Can we get to maybe 3 items before the next big fight? The answer's probably not, because you've only got 4 minutes before you need to fight around a Mountain Soul.
Yeah. I think that last sequence, it just pushes the game a bit out of reach. Yeah. They made some attempts at the mid-sage to pick people, but BNK avoided all of them. You know, Raptor was able to defensively Nocturne ult, wait out the Cataclysm, he escaped. Diablo flashed the attempt on mid, and now with all of the extra power picked up, it's going to be hard to deal with this Baron empowered siege, but G2, they're going to have to draw a line in the sands. Go for your Ornn ultimate Nami combo, see what you can get. Got to be aware of Mel's positioning. Obviously, this is a big blocker. Worry about the reflect.
Yeah, the rebuttal can do a lot of work. Vikla 2 levels up over Caps right now. Hansama trying to work his way across the mid lane. There's the Paranoia equalizer follow-up, and Caps is dead before he can even pop his ultimate. The rest of G2 likely to go pop 2. Diablo Killer Instincts out. Hansama there for the chase. They'll take 1. Clear now behind enemy lines as Raptor not tanking up the tower anymore. Clear trying to get in with the flame spitter. He'll go down as well. G2 so far have found 2 for only 1. There's 3 cannon falls. Raptor needs to get the hell out of here. Flash forward from Skewmon trying to chase down Vikla. Raptor running for the hills. Rebuttal doesn't block anything, but the Solar Snare catches 2. Flag and drag, and down goes 1. Skewmon looking for more. Can Raptor escape his clutches? A huge fight for G2. Skewmon on the chase. Stridebaker slow. Dustbringer speed up. Might be enough, but Skewmon will have the flag and drag back up in a second. Skewmon flags and drags away from the tower. Can't get close enough. TP behind onto the standard. I think that's all she wrote. BFX overstep on the bot lane tier 2.
Yeah, that's 1 tower too deep for BFX. That dive, they take so much tower damage. You're gonna have Vikla has to flash out. They're completely separated. Even though they fully delete Caps on the initiation, they're unable to finish up the rest of G2. Take a look at this. So Caps, he gets locked up. Really nice job there from Rakan, Rumble ultimate, and Nocturne ultimate. But that's everything. Then you get a really good double knockup from Broken Blade. They buy time, and now they're completely split on trying to disengage from the tower. So very good answer here from G2. They fight them off of this tower dive and try and chase down as much gold as they can. I believe during this replay, they probably got the objective bounty as well of the secondary tower on the bot side of the map. That's what they were sieging.
No, I think Diablo got there in time to stop them from taking the tower.
Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, they didn't get it. Yeah, so no objective bounty claim, but with all the kill gold, they did wipe the objective bounties off the map.
Yeah, gone down 2,500 gold swing in that last fight, but still, BFX well in the lead. We've got a minute before the next Drake. We've got flashes on Diablo. No one else really going to have their flash on BFX. Hans, Caps, and Lebrov all have theirs alongside Broken Blade. So BFX will need to do their due diligence around this next objective.
G2 have a good chance at this Dragon Soul with the massive front line that they do have here. Let's see if they can do it without someone getting picked off on the side. They're just grouping up as 5, Broken Blade in front. BNK though, they want to delete backline again.
Raptor looking for that Paranoia. Sundisk down from Caps, still only level 13. Paranoia onto Lebrov, knockup coming out. Raptor falling low, Cannon diving onto the backline. Lebrov already down. Caps though, able to go back in with Broken Blade here. Raptor with a good Shroud of Darkness, Catapult coming out. Hansama still untouched pretty much in the fight. Skewmon almost dies to the golden eclipse, and Caps doesn't have the damage to kill off Clear. G2 will trade the 1-for-1 so far, but it's BFX's jungler that is down.
Yeah, and Skewmon can actually just heal off the red buff. He can grab his own red buff and circle back around. I mean, they're going to force it, but look at Diablo and Kellen.
Diablo has flash, Hans Valkyrie is out, Caps does have the flash and has the Emperor's Divide. Call of the Forge God available to Broken Blade as well. G2 will turn their attentions away, but Clear gets in behind them. Caps with the Emperor's Divide is dead where he stands. Clear doing so much work on Summer, unable to join the party, does get a phosphorus bomb onto Diablo, but now Broken Blade needs to get out. Skewmon getting burnt to a crisp by Clear, flags and drags his way away. BFX still on the chase, Kellen diving in, Diablo flashing forward, Call of the Forge God, who are they going for? It's Clear, Aqua Prism on him, the Rumble will fall, Bigland in the pit, Broken Blade dashing in, Diablo trying to get in there as well, the devil on his shoulder, being outspoken by G2's demons, a triple for Hans, but Raptors back up. Is it still just Soul for BFX?
I mean, he's going to start it out, but there's so many members of G2 alive. Hans can still arrive. They've got the teleport coming in from Broken Blade. I think that's illegal from Raptor.
Victor's going to TP back into the fight as well. Raptor looking to see perhaps he can just find a smite fight. Steal, Paranoia in onto Lebrov. Raptor gets the kill. Victor forced away by BB. Raptor able to run away for now. Has the blast cone 2 to escape. Searing charge from Broken Blade. Doesn't land the knockup. The brittle prod not there in time to stop the blast cone back by BFX.
Okay, so Raptor's going to go back to base. Skewmon is up now. He just revived, so he can actually get here. Hans is going to work down the dragon so that by the time Skewmon gets there, he can smite it away. And G2 have done it. They have defended the Dragon Soul. They're scaling, baby. Those Ornn upgrades, the Azir's on 2 items, but really, Hansama. Hansama's the one that was able to clutch this. Here's another look at it. Diablo flashes over to go for the kill. They kill enemy jungler, jungler, it is worse because the soul is there. Clear had done such a good job with his teleport in, that's why they got to this moment, but the second attempt at the engage.
Hans actually just dodges everything. That's so impressive by him. The rest of G2 getting caught by it, him just standing right at the edge of those knockups. We have another look at the fight around the Drake as well. The Brav immediately burst by Raptor.
Yeah, and they were trying to delete somebody. Enough damage is done here, though, with Hans, with double buffs, chasing off enemy jungler that they do defend it. And now we're starting up Baron, actually.
BFX calling G2 to another Barney, to another fight. Bellow's breath out from Broken Blade, Call it Forge God coming out as well as Caps tried to TP in. The rebuttal will knock up Caps with that Forge God. Diablo down to half HP, quickness coming out as they try and get onto Caps, but look how far away Kellen is from the rest of the team. Equalizer down, but there's the follow-up with the Paranoia, flash away from Raptor BFX. Everything a little bit asynced here. Desynchronous from them as they went in one by one and had to dash out. G2 still standing relatively healthy.
Again, G2 has scaled for this moment and they have Nami sustain. So even with Broken Blade doing the ultimate right in front of Mel, G2 can kite back and they have extra sustain here. They can start the Baron.
No quickness up, no Paranoia, no Equalizer. G2 now the one setting up on the objective. Hans Summer on that front line needs to be healed up a little bit. Callan's still looking for the flank position. Broken Blade caught in the Solar Snare, but uses the Bellow's Breath to escape it. Caps goes in, the Emperor's Divide onto Diablo, and Caps finds his man, he'll die for it. There's the Cataclysm follow-up as G2 look to take the fight out from here. Hans Summer has to pop the barrier. Raptor going pop himself, flag and drag in. Raptor falls to the final order. Now Vikla needs to get out. The Canonist is hit, but Vikla still finds the kill with a Radiant Volley. He'll go down, Broken Blade and Clear, fighting out the top lane battle. The Forge God has answered the prayers of the EU as G2 find the ace.
Oh my goodness, these fights are so close there. The poke from Vikla at the end, but I think it gets taken out just barely. All right, let's take another look. So Vikla's trying to position aggressively. He is Mel, he's got his Reflect ready. He wants to do as much poke damage as he possibly can, but Caps sees the angle and he catches Diablo right out of the air, deletes him. Really, really huge engage, as you say, from the Emperor of Europe. Caps is able to get the clutch at the Baron, and then
Vikla there, that's so.
I think it's Nami that gets it. Yeah, Nami gets the bounce off of Broken Blade, so Lebrov is able to answer the poke damage there.
In the end, it's just another fight. There's no objective taken off it. The Baron still stands tall. The gold even between these two teams, though, as G2 were 5,000 gold behind earlier on. Cap still only level 14 on this Azir, but it feels like he's found his purpose in this game, and that is to find Diablo. 175 and still basically won the fight for G2. Around that last Drake, the mid-tier one will be taken by G2, their second tower of the game. For BFX now, you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, team fights are close. How do we make them end up in our favor?
Well, you got to take out Hans. I mean, Hans is building an Infinity Edge on top now, too, looks like. So
I think he's got it.
There you go, Infinity Edge done. 4-item Hans Sama.
Can you get to him? Broken Blade, level 18, highest in the game, 3 items on him. Giving those Masterworks out alongside it. Everyone on G2 has that upgraded item. Skewmond also building tank after the Sundered Sky and the Black Cleaver. Koenig Rook Gun. Looks like he might be going into a Death Dance next, possibly. It's G2 just grouping up as 5. We've seen this show before. We've told this tale a million times. Raptor looking for the flank.
Hans has his flash and his barrier is a couple seconds away too, so it's going to be really hard to take out that Corki. Look how G2 are positioning. People on all sides of Hans. They're circling around him. Corki in the middle now actually moving up. He's got the red buff.
Solar Snap dodging to the side of it. There's the Equalizer only onto Hans. Summer Paranoia going in as well. Caps spots a stopwatch. Sundisk down. Cannon trying to get in with that quickness. Raptor can still dive forward with that Paranoia, but it's expired now as G2 walk away. Golden Eclipse will chunk them out. Caps down to half HP, healed up by Lebrov. G2 will give up Prio on the mid lane to walk down here to reset. They used the Tidal Wave and the Emperor's Divide, but nothing more. There's only Killer Instinct available to BFX.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted positioning on Dragon, but BFX are running now away from the Baron area.
Diablo almost taken out. Call of Fortune being called as well. That's the Cataclysm. And Diablo feels the rips of an earthquake through him as Skumon buries him under his ultimate. BFX now realize they cannot fight against G2. They'll take the Baron and G2 will take control of the game. Soul is up, Soul is up. Broken Blade's running across there. Skumon might need to get across as well. Clearer started it, TP coming in from Vikler. Are G2 gonna trade the Baron for a Soul Hunt Summer on his way?
Yeah, they're trying to burn it down. Mountain Dragon is the tankiest one though, and now Hunt Summer!
TP coming in from Caps as well. He flashes for Vikler, Hunt Summer finds Vikler. Cannon going in with the quickness. Broken Blade keeping Raptor away from the Baron. Clear will kill up Hunt Summer, but with Caps here, G2 have the damage. Knockup coming out from Broken Blade, Raptor falls! G2, they take the Baron! They ward off BFX, and they'll stop the Soul!
Yeah, BFX knew their only shot now after G2 has scaled is to sneak away a Soul, and G2 peel off of the Baron. They come, they defend it, even with Hans going down and the bounty going over. G2, they get their Baron, and they take the Dragon as well, denying the Soul.
So often, I have criticized Hans Summer for not having the killer instinct in games. For not being, like, he's consistent. He's consistently really good, but he doesn't make the play that wins you the game. Here, he goes in, he kills off Vikler. We're going to go behind that, but it's just very impressive stuff from Hans Summer so far this series.
Yeah, both games really good.
Even here, killing off Diablo.
Yeah, I thought this was what you were referencing, actually.
Oh, no, because I forgot about this one, I'll be honest.
Because it was him on the front lines, and he has the confidence because his team is so good in the 5-on-5s. But here we go, Valk into flash forward onto Vikla after he had just full sent onto Diablo as well and chunked Diablo down so low that he was deleted. So it's back-to-back huge games for Hans Sama, and he has the confidence because he's got this very tanky team around him to be able to do it, that have fully scaled here. So nicely done from G2. Now marching in with Baron, you can see the Baron powered cannon minions here, 4 of them for Broken Blade. He's commanding them all to destroy this tower.
Kellen is on the longest flank I have ever seen in my life. He's in the enemy bot lane Tribush right now, but it could pay off. He's on his way across. Skumon trying to get in here with G2 as well, but Kellen's still on the flank. I think Caps has now spotted him. Kellen's on his way. Paranoia out. Broken Blade down to a 3rd HP. There's the quickness, there's the charm, there's everything, and they'll kill up on Summer. Kellen with a beautiful engage. Now it's all on Caps to do the damage. Raptor trying to step up. Call of the Fortune coming out as well. Skumon dives in onto Vikla. He locks both the carries into the pit, and they'll find them all! The Aqua Prism puts BFX sleeping with the fishes as G2, even with their AD carry dead, are still able to win out the fight. Hope springs eternal in EU. Where there is delusion, there is G2 as they go 1 game away from playoffs in first stand.
G2 have done it again. 2 games back to back. No, you actually need everyone else to do the carrying.
I think Caps has had a pretty poor series overall so far. For BNK FearX, they are now looking down the barrel of a 0-2 scoreline. Need to start winning, need to get that reverse sweep if they are going to make it through to the next round. They'll ban out the Mbessa and the Ziggs. Rise and Orianna taken away by G2, who are on the right side of your screen, but are blue side in this game. Bard will be the final ban from BFX. LeBron's Bard is solid. It's one of those Bards where he will land an incredible Cosmic Binding and then miss the Tempered Fate. You know, that's sort of... He's really good at times. And
I was not sold when you said solid, and you were making some faces already. You're like, well, let me finish.
Solid.
I got, you know,
I mean, sort of middling. Middling, maybe is a better word.
You've got some more flavor text to add after
it's important.
Honestly, though, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Let's see what game 3, what they can cook up. And I still, what I said at the beginning of the day still remains true, where I want more than 3 games. So even though now you're the winning, I actually still want more than 3 games. So BFX, let's go.
Kobe, you will get more than 3 games because there's a whole other series after this, right? So Varus, though, let through. You're going to see Diablo pick that up immediately. No surprises there. One of the best AD carries at the tournament, playing one of the best AD carries just in League of Legends right now, and we'll see how much pressure he can put down.
Do we get the Sivir response then? Because that is, we instantly. And then, so we're also getting the exact same. We get Sivir and Alistar. Last time around, Nico, like, kind of, there was a self-counter pick Nico into the Alistar, into the headbutt and all the defense, and that did not go well, so...
Can't be big this time. Was played in that game 1, so...
Yeah.
Looks like it is going to be Maokai and Jace.
Maokai poke comp. Yeah. Okay, so we got Varus and Jace poke with the Maokai behind it. Try and use long range versus a Sivir comp. Usually bodes well.
Yeah, Sivir tends to just want to play front to back, generally have a couple of meatballs in front of her and then slowly advance at your enemy. If BFX can keep G2 at arm's length, then they can just poke out. And Sion tries to avoid you from keeping him at arm's length generally. So. Yeah,
if you've got Alistar and Sion engaged, sped up with Sivir to be able to position for people too. Some good answers here. Sion's also, I always want somebody to be able to clear away the Maokai ultimate pathway. So Sion is very, very good at opening your team up an avenue to play through a Maokai ult. So I like these responses from G2. They've got Alistar and Sion, two of the biggest door openers.
Exactly, right. They love eating the roots. They're happy enough just standing there being rooted for a second.
Cows are herbivores, so there you go.
A herbivore as well. He could be a vegetarian.
He's got a soul furnace, so I don't think he's a herbivore. Yeah,
but he just collects, he can kill people, just not eat them.
He burns them up in his soul.
Right, yeah,
okay,
his soul furnace,
okay.
The Gwen ban from G2 makes sense when you're picking Sion on top. We could see this Jace still flex the top lane for clear, although I expect to see it in Victor's hands. Aurora taken away by a BFX as well. There's the Braum ban from G2, something that is good into compositions that want to engage on you, especially when you have low-range melees, like the Alistar and the Sion. The fact that Braum can proc multiple concussive blows makes it harder for you to play team fights. Yeah, it's good at punishing Alistar. It's also annoying for Sivir, because you can break all of Sivir stuff, and good ban. Definitely a good ban there. Agreed. Annie, the final ban from BNK. We'll see where G2 go. Usually you see a jungle pick here with leaving mid lane pick for last, but it's possible that we see Caps just picking something safe and giving Skewmon a little bit more impetus to have pressure on the map through the early game, because this G2 comp isn't a comp that really looks alive in the early game right now. They want to get to a couple of items at least before they can take those team fights. Yeah, and they did well in the last game getting there. It did take a little bit of help from the tower dive from BFX, but they got there in the end, so they were able to do it. They were able to scale. All right, the Pantheon angle here. Now, when, of course, poke comps, you're always trying to hard engage on the poke comps, so you close the distance before they get value out of their poke. You can have Sion and Alistar started off, and Pantheon ult over the top is guaranteed you are getting into the back line. So I do like this. Plus, your Pantheon is a really good jungle for almost any mid laner that you want to go to in the current meta. So I also like that, where it should help out Caps, so that hopefully they can set up Caps for success in this game and get him a better start to one of these games. He was heavily focused in game 2, but overall has had a poorer first stand than I think we would have expected from him, mostly because we hold him to a very high standard in the LEC. Caps has been so consistently the king of this region that you kind of expect him to be performing 9 to 10 out of 10 performances every time. Here has been struggling a little bit, but might be going back to an old favorite. The Sylas, currently the hover. I like Sylas Pantheon. That's going to put some pressure there on the Syndra. Low mobility mid lane champion. Never mind. even a Galio Pantheon. Yeah. Usually people look and they're like, "Oh, is that enough damage?" Yeah, it is. When you're playing versus a Syndra. I mean, Zoe puts a lot of pressure down as well. If you can land some of those sleepy trouble bubbles. See, Zoe getting brought out by Caps. It's been a while, I think, since we've seen him crack out this one. I'll have a quick look while you talk about what it gives to the composition. Yeah, I mean, it does give you pick potential with bubbles, around separate angles, and gives you some poke damage yourself. But I mean, it can get punished pretty quickly by a Maokai too. So let's see how effective it is in lane versus the Syndra. There's a lot of ways to set up here towards this mid lane. I expect mid lane is one of the more volatile ones here for both sides. So could be some more repeat visits. 2022. was the last time Caps played Zoe competitively.
Yeah, in a pro game.
Yeah, in a pro game.
Let's investigate his solo queue accounts quick.
Oh, man, I've only got my phone here. My fingers are too big to press all those buttons. But 18 and 9 across it all time, so something he's pretty comfortable on. Although Caps, I mean, all of his win rates on champs tend to be above 60% because he just tends to win more than 60% of his games. So, looking at the compositions, as you said, BNK FearX seems to have gone down this poke route with the Maokai to keep people at arm's length. For G2, they're looking for kind of a double pincer engage with the Sion and the Alistair going in from one side, and then the Grand Staff all over the top for the Pantheon to follow it up. They have a bit of poke of their own in the form of this Zoe from Caps, but you do feel if BNK FearX get ahead in this game, it's going to be really hard for G2 to actually gain prio on towards some of these objectives.
And if they do get ahead, they're probably not going to do a bunch of tower dives. This is a siege. You know, you get ahead in siege instead of tower diving for BFX this time around. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Okay, he's chilling.
Well.
But yeah, it's really big to snowball. You know, you have a lot of lanes here with poke damage, so you want to win your lanes as BFX, and then you want to group up in siege, and you want to keep getting more and more money off of tower plates. So they want to play with a lot of pressure. Syndra, Jace, and Varus are all very good in those sieges, and they've got the Maokai and the Poppy to try and be their blockers for them as well. So user range advantages is going to be key for them.
Yeah, Kellen can find some good keepers verdicts as well on the 2 damage dealers, maybe 3 if you count the Pantheon in there. It's going to be hard for G2, even if they do find the engage, to actually follow up on it. And right now, the Act 2 Battle Pass bundle is live. If you purchase it, you can unlock the Prestige, Requiem, Sona skin, and the Chroma. I said that a little too early. It wasn't on the screen yet. I was told it would come up after the skins. And there we go. That's what it looks like. You can get that Act 2 Battle Pass and get yourself scaling up towards that Chroma.
Yep. All right. And you see the reasons the Sivir is always picked into the Varus so frequently. Attack that wave. Diablo is trying to like hide away from wave 2 so he doesn't get the bounce damage onto him. And just back off a little bit. Plus the Varus, lethality Varus, keeps on getting some nerfs, you know? Keeps on getting nerfs, so it's been taken down quite a few notches.
I mean, it's still first pick, first ban on most of these games. Like, we don't see it too often because it is so high presence on that ban list. Raptor, Bramble smashing his blue buff. He's going to work his way up towards the top side. Looks like he went Razor Beaks, like Raptors into bot side clear, back up towards top. Puts down a sapling to spot out if Skirmond is looking around mid lane. There's a ward as well from Vikla. So BFX making sure that their mid laner is safe through this early game.
Yeah, a lot of times you want to like desync your Raptor camps from enemy Raptor camps too if you want to go to contest second spawn. Here we go, sleep for Caps.
Yeah, but he'd already used the paddle star, so it was purely a sleep to make sure I can push in this wave and then harass with the paddle star as Vikla has to back away.
And they got their ward on bottom side to protect their pushing, so everybody is chilling at the moment. Should just be traded Scuttle Crabs here, and the Sion into the Jace. A lot of people prefer just having the safety. Wait a second. On his way. No safety here.
Yeah, clear looking for the knockback. Broken Blade's going to flash early to make sure that that hammer doesn't knock him far enough back for Raptor to follow up. Raptor will be able to get the top side scuttle. Skirmond is on his way out, but with Caps recalling and not having teleport, instead running the Ghost on the Zoe. Don't think Skirmond will get here in time. Caps in the last game did overtake Xiaohu for the most assists all time internationally, 1,203.
Are they gonna trap Skirmond? The Raptor bait here, really cool from Raptor, and they're actually gonna find him.
Yeah, Skirmond trying to steal away these Raptors. Raptor's on his way across. It looks like Victor's actually just going back to the lane, realizing there's a blast cone here, but they will delay Skirmond, which is important. Skirmond coming back in. Smite comes out from Raptor. Shield bolt in from Skirmond for a little bit of damage, but even with the Aegis Assault, he's not going to be able to fell that tree. Raptor just walks away.
Thought they were going to go on a little quicker because Vikla was going to be there earlier, but the wave, so can't give up too much value from the wave in mid lane, and I like how Skirmond played that. Just disengage until mid lane is kind of equalized there. Caps gets back, Caps can push, and then he blast cones over to go kind of re-contest. Still though, Maokai, Raptor, very happy here. He's got the ideal first back for your Faded Ashes, and you can just power clear very easily now. Again, remember they rebuffed up Maokai's Q with even more monster damage, and so he immediately jumped back into the meta. and feels very comfortable.
Manages to get double scuttle crab as well. As Caps looking for the sleepy trouble bubble.
Scuttly crabs.
Yeah, the scrabs, man. Good knockback from Clear here. Broken Blade still flashless.
It sounds like some British slang. Like that would be you would call someone a scrab.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe if you don't like them, it doesn't sound nice.
Yeah, because scab is the one I immediately think of. Someone that walks over the picket line as a scab, right? As Callan tries to use the steadfast presence to get in range of Caps, but Caps now has that auto jump, level 6 hit. TP coming from Diablo. Running that on the Varus, as we so often see. Labrov here to make sure Caps can get the push in. We are fighting around the first Drake of the game. No level 6 for either of the junglers as of yet, but it looks like G2 just want to get control of the river more than anything else.
Yeah, it's incredibly important. The river between mid lane and bottom lane, we go over this so often, but wait, it allows you all these like support ganks and allows you so many more options for your jungler. It's just like early game highway, basically. G2 going to use the time that they have after clearing out those wards and pushing in the bottom lane.
Also using the fact that Caps got an ignite off Spell Thief, so is able just to portal jump forward and ignite Vikla for free. Means that Vikla really can't stay around. Caps taking up a couple of tower shots. Diablo and Callan are on their way across.
There's no teleport for Vikla, but Raptor is coming.
I mean, Caps is low. Does have the portal jumps. Skewmon looking for the smite. Callan with a slam into the wall onto Labrov. Skewmon going back in, will not get the smite. Raptor secures it. There was 1 HP on that Drake. Labrov just getting away as well, but with the Aegis Assault now timing out. Skewmon has to flash. Raptor going in. Cap steals the flash away onto Callan, taken out by the Hammer Smash. Nature's Grasp from Raptor, who leveled up to level 6 because of the kill on Caps. Hunsummer still finds one, but Diablo will put him in the dirt with Caps. BFX take the Drake and get 2 kills out of it.
Oh, Raptor is clean with it, man. He gets back, he snags the dragon at, yeah, I saw 1 HP also, man. That was crazy. Snags the dragon. He also levels up to 6. He flashes over the wall to force this play and then levels up to 6, levels up his ultimate. But here we go. Kellen starts it out on the wall, so G2 are putting all their damage into Dragon while BFX are attacking them. That's why BFX can actually go for a 3v4 play. And then Raptor says, fine, I will jump for it. He flashes over, he gets the Q backwards, and because Kellen gets the kill on the Caps and Raptor got the assist, he leveled up to 6 to fire off his ultimate. He still gets taken down, but BFX, they chase down all these kills after stealing the Dragon, so it's just such a big play for them. Raptor with some good timing on several keys there.
We looked at it and we didn't think they were going to contest at all. We were like, okay, Vikla doesn't have TP, Raptor's on the top side of the map, no way that you contest this, but it took G2 long enough that Raptor was able to run all the way down from his Krugs and then contest, get that level 6 and win out the fight. 1,000 gold lead now for BFX, as Labrov just covering Caps in the mid lane to make sure that his Zoe can get the push in.
Yeah, it's one of those things why you can find a lot of angles where you don't just straight look at numbers. It's if someone is dumping all their spells into an objective or a camp, they are super vulnerable. It's not like a full extra person there when you're evaluating numbers games and who actually has advantage. So many spells, getting dumped in, and plus Caps was pushing in the lane in mid, so he was like only kind of there.
Yeah.
And so they got a lot of lead time in the fights, which resulted in extra health bars. But the key is the flash over from Raptor to get the double Q there and separate Caps back over towards Kellen, and then Caps flashing in there and being able to pick it up. It was all nicely played from BFX, which it bodes well for me and my hope for more than just a 3-game series.
And BFX off to a strong early start, as you say, leads in top and jungle for Clear and Raptor, about 300 gold apiece there. Kellen as well, because he picked up the kill on Caps, has a 400 gold lead over Labrov on this Alistair. Caps looking for the sleepy trouble bubble, can't land it. Raptor just walking through mid down towards his bottom side camp. Skewmon could look for a fight. Unstoppable Onslaught coming out, flash away from Clear. Grand Starfall being used on the bot side as they go for Kellen, but the Chain of Corruption is going to land onto Skewmon. Knock up from Labrov, who's tanking the tower with the Unstoppable Force as well. Should be tanky enough, and Labrov will be able to walk away with sub 50 HP. Diablo trying to trade back in, but can't get close enough. Raptor unable to help out.
Drink your potions, kids. Labrov here, calculated, tanks up exactly enough with the Alistar ult and the potions ticking. Even with Diablo landing his ulti there on a Skewmon upon arrival of the Pantheon. Since Labrov was doing a good job taking tower aggro, it didn't matter. And Clear lost his flash. Broken Blade gets his tower plate money. And again, the Scion here provides so much value frontline for later on. Let's take another look at them starting it out, though. Labrov goes for it, headbutt under tower, pops his ulti, stays in tower range, is key there, keeps on tanking, allows the rest of them to walk on out.
Camps did a good job of keeping Raptor and Vikla pinned towards the mid lane as well, kind of cut them off. Even though they would have been able to kill him off if he stepped too far forward, meant that they couldn't react quickly enough to the bot side play. Gold now even between the two teams, still the objective lead for BFX with those 3 grubs and the dragon. And leads still for Kellen and for Clear, but Caps has the advantage for the, not for the first time this series, but it's been rare that we've actually seen him come out of the laning phase with an advantage at all. He's been pretty well handled by Vikla overall.
Curious to see how the BFX siege looks in the next few minutes here are going to tell a lot. You have Maokai with completed Liandry's, so super nice for the sapling. Spam through the brushes, but they really got to take advantage of their poke damage. Again, looking for 1 item completions first for most of them, but good job hovering around mid lane first for Raptor is going to make sure that Vikla has a lot of safety to work with here and can try and push in and make use of a lot of that poke while taking away some jungle value too. But the Jace isn't going to be as effective there with the poke. And
yeah. Especially with Broken Blade being relatively tanky already.
Doing great up there, yeah.
Scion.
BB doing great.
510 stacks for him. Second Drake is coming out. Raptor waiting in. Bramble smash. Spear goes wide from Skumond. Force of Will, and the Scan of the Week won't do too much to him through that Aegis Assault. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land, but Kellen and Raptor standing in the way of anyone from G2. Clear down to half HP again as Broken Blade with that Soul Furnace and the Roar of the Slayer keeps chipping away at this Jace, who doesn't have teleport. Broken Blade does. So if the fight starts around this Drake, G2 can have a man advantage. Flash forward onto Kellen, step up presence, knockback as well. There's the trample stun, there's the knockback. Sleepy Trouble Bubble interrupts the Keeper's verdict, and Kellen taken out by G2. Quick on the trigger finger there from LeBron.
Nice engage. Again, the engages are going to be key here for G2 to jump on BFX before they can get any poke value.
TP behind.
Yeah, they want more.
Does have flash. There's the Chain of Corruption going down onto Hans Summer. Grand Starfall as well as they chase onto Raptor. Unstoppable onslaught onto the trees, going down. G2 are yelling timber as they look for more. Diablo has to flash away. Skumon tang in the tower. Broken Blade can do so too. Diablo's going to feel the pain of the axe, and the ricochets out from Hans Summer. Kellen with a good Keeper's Verdict knockup, but Broken Blade still flashes away and escapes. G2 have turned the tables. 5-2 now with a 1k gold lead.
Yep, they had teleport advantage, so they used that teleport advantage.
No, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Kellen was trying. He had a heated up tower there and, you know, tried to keep Scion in. Oh. All right, fight. Bye.
That's what happens.
Sleep. Night, night. Yeah, I mean, so they had the teleport advantage, and G2 utilized it effectively. Good early play. Remember, all the way back to how it started was Labrov punishing Kellen, but it turned into, hey, we've got a good teleport angle here. So in comes Broken Blade, Scion ultimate to make sure they can kill Raptor. Then they can tank up again, even though Labrov was low health, he's Alistar. So he uses heal for Skumond. He uses his own ult to take it himself. And then even with the heated up tower shots, still not able to take down Broken Blade. He had his flash, and G2 are loving it because the poke comp is not getting ahead. The poke comp is not getting any leverage early. In fact, they're behind. So how do you like group up and use your siege effectively when G2 can now just spam these engages on you? Labrov is playing great here on the Alistar, you know, as is the rest of the team.
And the Corn-based Gold Guard, Skumond has about a 500 gold lead. Clear trying to trade onto Broken Blade here, has that Black Cleaver completed, but Broken Blade able to walk away with the Sunfire Cape.
And Skumond's had a great series overall. We sung his praises early on in the series, but deserves it once again. The Pantheon with the Sundered Sky completed is going to have a very nice time jumping in to this BFX comp and kind of ripping them apart.
Ooh,
so Caps. BFX, they're like, hey, we gotta leverage something here. Some extra numbers on top side maybe. Now they've been spotted though, so G2 defenses can try and get there. Hans and Labrov are in the area.
Cap trying to clear out the way. Cap splashes away from the knockback. Twisted Advance going to follow him though. Sleepy Bubble does get the sleep. The Force of Will and Scatter the Weak not going to connect. And now G2 are collapsing themselves. What do BFX have left in the tank to fight against this? Vikla tanks up the tower and Hans Summer opens up the big guns. Caps takes the kill. That's one. They'll look for two as Raptors caught out by Caps and Labrov. Skirmon gets the third. Raptor in the end delayed here, but will still die. Caps on a rampage. He's come alive in game 3.
Another 3-0, Medic?
It's just so boring.
Yeah, at this tournament. Oh my goodness. G2 setting up the 3-0. It looks like, because, yeah, I mean, they're going after Caps, but they had already been alerted. You know, G2 already had defenses in the area, and BFX know we have to make this play quick. They know they have to make it quick because they saw the Alistar and the Sivir killing the control ward, walking over. And since Caps does a very good job evading that, you know, attempt at a tower dive with his weight.
Diablo healed up, but Skirmon still puts the spear through his spine. Callan will follow him in a body bag as G2 are unrelenting here. 3K gold, now their lead, and BFX seem all unaware, all out of sorts. And for G2 now, with the advantage, with the composition playing into this poke comp where you are getting tankier, it's going to be so hard for the LCK number 2 seed to do much.
Yeah, because it's so easy to engage on them, and they don't have a lead to whittle you down or threaten much. So G2, again, Pantheon in with a Labrov flank as well. Didn't actually even need Labrov that much. It's mostly Skirmondo double kill here. The Mantheon is coming in, and he's looking buff.
Evolution of Skirmon over the last couple of years.
I love these celebration dances. I mean, you can start the celebration dances early because
you can, but again, it's a don't count your chickens before they're hatched sort of situation. I've seen BFX lose a game from a greater goal lead than this already this series. Vikla trying to chase Caps out, Force of Will. Not enough damage, but with the auto in the end, he will take in. There's a shutdown over to Vikla. You told me to dance in celebration, and then immediately Vikla gets a kill. Kobe, what you got to say for yourself?
Haha. I think you can still dance, though. I mean, the reason that I'm pretty confident is because of the team comps. But, yeah, you know what? Let's play that game. Let's keep our minds open here. BFX, see what they can do to get back into this. You know, killing Caps and getting top tower is a nice step for them. A little bit of gold there. You know, chop down that lead a little bit.
Definitely helps out. Clear seeing if he can step forward here. Labrov spot him out with the Scryer's Bloom. Next Drake up in 20 seconds time. It's a Chem Soul this game. Not one of the most important or impactful, but still something that G2 will want to keep ticking over if they can with this lead. And Summer on his way to his Infinity Edge. Matched in terms of itemization by Diablo, but the lethality item slightly cheaper generally than their sort of crit-based counterparts.
Yeah. All right, BFX. Now they want to try and get their poke value. They get there early, they have their wards down, they can throw out some long range before the G2 engage comes. Saplings in all the brushes.
There's the TP, there's a blast cone full of profits looking to get into the back of the pit. BFX begin to back away, Riftel down as well. The Drake resets. Rob is in that pit. Raptor forced back into his own blue side jungle. Clear trying to come in from the bottom side. Diablo and Vikla in mid. Not really close enough to the team. There's the Riftel charging forward, and it looks like BFX just say, okay, you've invested into this. You use the TP, you use the Riftel. We'll let you take the Drake, and instead we'll just look for a bit of pressure in that mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, they scatter and give up position, and I think they're just going to have to give up a lot as this game progresses. I mean, top wave, look at that. G2 had already prepped top wave, so BFX were there.
Oh, Clear going for the flash knockback. Cannon there for the follow-up with the Nature's Grasp now. Caps is down, the knockback with the Keeper's Verdict. Labrov the new target here as BFX continue to collapse on the cow. Broken Blade realizing he can't really help Labrov right now. He'll flash, knockback from Cannon, doesn't get the stun, but the piercing arrow finds its mark. And roast beef on the menu now for BFX.
Okay, they're doing it now. BFX starting the comeback, getting a bunch of gold. They can get the tower plates afterwards. Okay, they get one tower plate, and they're going to call it at that. Nice little rebuttal, though, against that wall. Yeah. Go for the engage, grab some kills for themselves. BFX, they definitely need that money. And 2 items here, done for Clear, fully transformed Muramana for the Jace.
And only needs to use Clear's flash to get that. Caps didn't flash in response, but have another look at it. Clear's been trying to do this a couple of times with Broken Blade earlier this game. It's a nice knockback into Kellen's follow-up.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Knock him back against the wall. They get the combo there, and then even with LeBron ultimate on, they can put so much damage into him while he's walking away. Even without that hitting, Diablo's able to get the snipe to finish up the extra kill and get a turret plate to fund their extra damage, and they certainly need it here. LeBron kind of poke around inside the jungle, see some enemy movements, but good defense from BFX to be able to clear it back out.
And gold lead cut to 1.5k. And it's moments like that that can get BFX back into the game. G2 will still be comfortable enough with the spot they're in. 2 items on Caps and on Hans Summer with the Infinity Edge, Storm Razor, Ludens, and Rocket Belt complete. But you can see the poke coming out with the piercing arrows and with the accelerated shock blast. Clear has 2 items of his own, as does Raptor. Bloodletter's Curse will start helping Vikla in these battles.
All right, here comes the siege. The BFX siege. How much poke can they land? How many snipes can they get? Sion, keep an eye on Sion there. Whenever Broken Blade has his ulti, threatening to use it through the river here, but when BFX back off, he says, fine, I'll just go back to your tower. I'll get my value there. Minions are dying to the tower, and tower plates are going down in favor of G2.
Clear will show on the bot lane. Diablo chunked out to about 2/3 HP. Skirmish has the Grand Starfall as well, which is why BFX needs to be a little cautious. If you overstep immediately, you have a Pantheon flying above your heads and then having a flank position on you. You can turn on him depending on what you've used, but for the moment, G2 able to hold off this siege. Caps was working his way down towards the bottom lane. He's been spotted on that Farsight alteration ward, now cleared out. Vikla with some good damage. But, for the moment, G2 still holding strong in the mid lane. BFX unable to break that. Clear able to walk away. Grand Starfall coming in as well. Stumon still diving the tower. Decimating Smash will get the knockup, and Clear healthy for a long time here. They drop the aggro. He dodges the spear. Broken Blade still chasing. Will flash forward, get the kill with the Cell Furnace, but Kellen's on his way to try and make this a 1-for-1. He should be able to do so. Diablo coming across from the side. The tower did fall. Stumon could rejoin, but he's only at half HP. Chain of Corruption used. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we've seen Hans Summer taking down the tower. Broken Blade will pay for the dive with his life. The G2 will take a 1-for-1 and a turret, 2 turrets as well.
Yeah, I think it could have been a bit cleaner for G2, but you know, as you say, they still also get the turret on top of getting the kill here. And BFX getting a little bit back for themselves, taking down the Sion.
Yeah. Hans picking up the mid lane tower as well, opens up the map a little bit more for G2. Next Drake up in a minute's time. We'll see if BFX decide to play around it. Have another look at this dive. They know Clear doesn't have the flash and they go for it, but I think it's just a bit tankier than they expect.
Well, I was thinking that Skumon would just stay in until the next Q, his next Q is available, and just finish it. But they were worried about a quick collapse.
Yeah, I think so.
So he was like, all right, I'm dropping tower aggro, and then Broken Blade, you can just go finish it. You know, if they kill you, then you'll have zombie form anyway. So you'll get value of kill plus probably a minion wave, and we got the tower. So you know, it's still good. Yeah, still very good.
That it is. 3,000 gold now, the lead for G2. BFX well and truly on the ropes. You can see them trying to find these picks. They're setting up, using Raptor's saplings to get a little bit more vision, get a little bit of poke. But that poke not really doing too much against that shield from Broken Blade. Clear trying to take the bot lane tower. Will be able to get that turret. Second of the game for BFX. Decimating Smash out from Broken Blade, not enough. Vikla hanging off to the side to see perhaps if someone oversteps from G2. Clear flanking as well as Caps jumps away. Decimating Smash again from Broken Blade. Little bits of poke on landing from BFX, but it's not enough for now as BB still very tanky on that front line. Caps going in. Doesn't land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Dragon is up on the map. Clear still looking for a flank of his own. Skumon's going to try and catch him out. Chain of Corruption landing onto Broken Blade. Caps goes in, stunned up. Vikla looking for the knockup as well with the Keeper's Verdict. The Locket shield enough to keep G2 healthy, and with a Sleepy Trouble Bubble landing onto Vikla, the Unleashed Power and the Flash enough to keep him alive for now, but Vikla so low. Broken Blade getting choked out by Clear. Raptor at half HP. Diablo able to dodge away from the bubble himself. Raptor in the pit with Skumon on top of him. Broken Blade healing up. Diablo steps forward, and Hans Summer sends him back to the fountain. Vikla will join his AD carry, and the rest of BFX are damn well fearful. G2 take 4, and they'll take the Drake alongside it.
I love it. No hesitation from G2 members. Flashes just blown for the engages over the wall. Raptor here with his
But he's been spotted now. He's with his fellow countrymen in the Raptors. But yeah, he's going to die. The Baron has been begun by G2. Lebrov gets the knockup, Raptor goes down, the Cow gets it, and G2 will get the Baron alongside.
All right, now, are you with me?
I'm like, yes.
Okay, so anyways, we're going to take a look at the engages, because it's all about the engages over the top. Good poke damage, honestly, from BFX, but look at when Lebrov and Hans Sama pop the Sivir ultimate, and they both just flash at them. They almost kill Vikla. He's able to scatter the weak and flash away himself. But Broken Blade down there on the other side was taking up everything so easily that now Skirmishing with the health advantage gets to jump in, they get the early territory, and then Lebrov again, another engage onto Diablo this time. He's able to get the kill, and everybody comes through to finish it off. The full 5-on-5. They're with me! Yeah, I think they've just broken this. Like the poke comp is just, it's so hard to pull off when you don't get early leads and good like siege angles ahead of time. So now they don't have a lot of territory to work with. They're still going to try though. They actually teleport Jace to split push on top side to get some money there. But G2 with Baron buff, they honestly don't care about that. Yeah. Just ignore the Jace. All right, use Baron buff, siege up, force plays.
It's not like the rest of your team actually has a huge amount of damage right now. You can see it was Raptor who did the most damage in that last fight for them. He is at 2 items, but he's pretty squishy on this tree, and Vikla is matching mid lane right now. Clear trying to get some gold, trying to get that objective bounty in his pocket as G2 take down the tier 2 in the bottom side, but Caps is on his way out. Clear has backed away. I see there's only 1 plate remaining on that tower. Might be shortly to fall. Looks like it survives for now. Clear running away because Skirmishing was also on his way across towards that top quadrant. The Grand Starfall would have spelt Clear's death.
All right. Objective bounties are up at the very least for BFX. It's always such a like, we have something to hope for. But why are those objective bounties up? Because the game feels so bad for us.
Yeah, 7,000
that
gold
we're that far behind.
Triple Drakes. It's not a promising position at all for BFX right now. 3 items on Hans Sama as well. 3 have just been completed on Diablo. He's got the Cyrilda's Grudge, but he hasn't had the series that I expected from him. And G2 have done a really good job of shutting down Diablo, and he's had some good moments, but
and Hans has had an amazing one.
Had a better series of the 280
by
carries,
far.
which coming in, I would have been entirely shocked. Diablo has been neutered by G2 as we see the tier 2 in the top side being taken down as well. It's put into its foundations, and now BFX trying to defend as 4 clear, still in mid. G2 pushing in, have 1.5 minion waves left on this Baron buff on this push. The poke from BFX does land a little bit onto Lebrov and onto Broken Blade, but really more chip damage than anything else. Nothing too substantial. Force of Will in the Scat of the Week onto Hans Sama. Won't be enough to get the stun. Diablo dodging to the side of the Paddle Star as Lebrov once again comes across. Broken Blade very happy just to tank this up, but with a Chain of Corruption, there's a knockback from the Scat of the Week. Broken Blade just tanks the tower down to half HP, sure, but he doesn't really care too much. 7 seconds left on this Baron push. 2 inhibitor towers down to about half HP apiece. In the end, BFX have held on to their inhibs as the Baron expires.
Then they're trying to defend another minion wave here. As you say, the Baron expiring means that minion wave is a lot easier to deal with, and they still have defensive poke, plenty of wave clear with all this range, so they do at least weather that storm for now.
Flash forward onto Hans Sama, he pops the on the hunt immediately with Vikla on the chase. Good vision there from BFX to spot Hans Sama, recalling a little greedily.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, at that moment, you're just like, all right, we gotta get some. We have to get a crazy play, right? So just flash for plays, whatever. Let's try. Even though you only get Sivir ultimate out, you're like, oh well, maybe he's like slow and reacting or something, and maybe we can get a dream scenario.
It's been 6 years, Kobe, since G2 last 3-0'd a Korean team. It's against Genji, who are now the titans of the tournament, the titans of the world.
Ah, yeah, nice.
And now with Drake
Fun
up.
fact.
Yeah, it's a good one, right? And now with Drake up, G2 are looking to put the final nail into the coffin for BFX. They'll step forward, they'll try and put a little bit of poke down. Broken Blade there with the decimating smash as well. Still 3 seconds before that Chem Soul Dragon does spawn in. Yeah, it's huge, man. He's getting
the teleport
223 stacks. It's clear is being marked by LeBron. Nature's Grasp out onto Broken Blade. Chain of Corruption there for the follow-up. But Broken Blade, this is all of BFX just hitting onto him. The Keeper's Verdict cancelled. Unstoppable Onslaught coming out as well. Decimating Smash going to land. Cannon having to flash out. Will use the locket, but it doesn't save you. LeBron flashes in, looking for Raptor, who used the Twisted Advance to try and escape. Grand Starfall coming forward as well. They'll go for Diablo. He flashes away from his base, and he's put to sleep. Night! G2 are Diablo's nightmares, as Clear is forced down towards the bottom side. Summer on the hunt, not only for the kill, but for the big 3-0. Bigler trying to escape. The unleashed power has nothing behind it. Caps will kill the enemy mid. Only Raptor will stand alive.
G2 have done it! 3-0 here over BFX at first stand. Amazing stuff from them. What a series, especially on Sama. Impressive stuff.
G2 marching down mid. All 5 alive. Broken Blade here with the Bounce special to top it off. He'll find Raptor, who goes extinct like the Velociraptors of old. G2, they have lived in delusion, and now they have demolished BFX. There is hope for EU. Euphoria reigns supreme. A 3-0 for G2.